folks, we're gonna do this shit one way or another. I love all of you. I missed all of you. I hope everyone had a somewhat decent week. And if you didn't, I hope this makes it slightly better. Let's get into what the fuck happened last time on whatever the hell this is. Last time on this shit show, we woke up and we chose violence. We picked up the morning of with Kipley racing over into the dining hall. We found out that Mammoth is in fact the Flash, being able to cover 120 feet in a single turn with the dash action. And we found out, chillingly, that in the moment of a kind of feverish hunger, Kipley was no longer Kipley for whatever reason. And that old consequences finally began to emerge after they've been slowly building and eating away at a months and months of your journey that you've slowly been able to find amongst these people. And now, ta-da! You made it to the dining hall. You slammed cloches, which, by the way, that definition will never leave my mental now. It's forever staying in there. Um, and everyone saw what monster you were truly becoming. As the party gathered around, concerned and a little bit more concerned than curious, uh, the um, the lovely masters of the house, in the form of Wave, Aldrin, and Mori, popped in and showed you the absolute horror of which was Kipley entering the stages of lichdom. Um, First ever case, excuse me, of what would be secondhand lichdom, as a curse being passed on from one to another, where you would have had to consume their phylactery. I wonder how that happened. And you would have had to accept willingly the legitimate curse that it is from person to person. And yeah, both happened. You were fed a human soul, and it did calm down your senses. You learned you will have to eat people in order to survive, and you almost ate Mammoth and Duradon, of which were both concerned and had a brief, "Hey bud, what's this about?" To where you broke down your, like how you broke down your deal with with Mordred before you talk about the lit shit. You're like, "Hey, what's going on?" Kipley broached the topic that she had a bad deal with Mordred, and then was like, "Oh, by the way, apparently I have some litchy past where I made decisions that led me here with a certain Vander." Um, of which there was already an undead vibe coming from the Bone Mother already, so it didn't really surprise anyone, but it's just a new concern. And we actually did legitimately go around to the table with, what did you want to do with all of these concerns? Kipley potentially fixing herself and obviously finding Ravinica, of which was a reminder that Ravinica didn't only exist where you came from, it existed for a very long time, is still probably here. Durdon hit him with the "I just want to live because I can't plan past that because he's died so much," despite being one of the most powerful people here. R.I.P. Shrouded. And also wanting to protect and uphold the oath that he made to keep the Ironwood Thicket, or the Ironwood Grove, as it is now called, safe from harm. As after making the deal with Escaldos, some personal responsibility wanted to be held. Mammoth wanted to visit the Ironwood Thicket as well, and learn about his people, learn about what it means to be a druid, since you didn't really get that chance when the time that you came from. And Mustang obviously wasn't here, so we didn't get to hear his little bit. But after after having a good sit down talk and priorities, oh, you also learned that Zyrus would also, in the same mindset as you, would like to get rid of Mischief from her. She never thought it was a possibility before, but after you were given a year to fix Mischief and her connection with all of you, uh, she displayed that she would very much like to have her freedom. at the cost of power, 100% worth it. And then, for the remainder of the time that we had left, you all went and made some magic items for the first time. Of course, nothing crazy, but we went and talked about what exactly you wanted to build for arcane focuses, as you had lost basically everything you had before you came here, for at least those who were imprisoned. And while some of you don't really need items to operate in the form of Kipli and Duradon, um, at the very least, you needed some spell components, of which were normally held by your previous item, with Kipli in her glasses, Mammoth in his stone, and Duradon when he at least had a sword, in the form of Clarent before he was lost. So you were given some choices of what you wanted to do, and we ran through some very fun and totally not stressful forging checks, of which truly went way better than I thought it would. Um, the forge began with Mammoth crafting a sun and moon symbol, where you essentially dripped liquid metal onto your skin and had it hard pressed to form into the shapes of the sun and moon on separate sides, using both mithril on one hand for the moon and ruby dust for the sun to create your two arcane focuses, of which are just normal enchanted. We had the um, hair piece with Kipli, where you made a E carved into this kind of self-made, trashy, kind of simple, basic hair tie, of which you rolled so exceptionally well, but chose to settle for so exceptionally less, and we love you for it. Not trashy as in like it looks horrible. But like the design overly simple, the material made of electrum, which isn't exactly the most showy of metals. Um, and yeah, you chose to make it exactly what you wanted, and it works and functions as it normally would back when you had the lens from the Bone Mother. And finally, Duradon had a choice, since you don't really need an arcane focus, but it's good to have a channel for abilities and various different kind of spellcraft. So the offer was put in front of you if you really want to make one for everyone else, that they would teach you how. And you decided that you want to, instead of forging an item, to stick with the nature-based route, and take one of Esclados's twigs from his helm and carve it into a sort of hilt of sorts, the base of a bladeless sword. And you had a brief conversation with Esclados, which was hilarious, and I love RPing as that massive big idiot. So much fun. Where you essentially had a back and forth of, can I break something off of you? And it going on for about legitimately 20 minutes of you arguing with your walker, of which eventually he did relent, and we saw the funny meme of Duradon hitting his massive automaton once with a dagger, being unable to actually cut through the skin slash twig, and then pulling out the full power of his kit to great weapon master through the second blow, and break off successfully the twig, of which you eventually whittled down into the hilt, and began learning, for the first time, the man who normally destroys learned to create. Because you didn't just whittle, but you also got taught the basis of enchanting. You yourself not having the ability to enchant, all you did was carve the runes themselves, but didn't actually understand what the meaning was, or how to bring them to life. But with the aid of a new character, because I forgot last time I was here, um, we saw Rowan Longfoot help Kipli and Mammoth with theirs, and of course Noel Derivan, excuse me, uh, helped with the more complex, kind of forging related aspects, um, of your item making. But after everyone was successful, we are essentially entering a grace period where there is going to be 4 days of you all basically consistently working in the workshop on your various different tasks. Some of you will be finished sooner. Um, Mammoth will take the full 4 days. Kipley will be done in, I believe, 3 days. And Durdon will be done in 2 days as well. So any smaller tasks that you would like to do, you can pop an RP channel. But before we can move forward, Mudstang, we go to you, my friend. So we didn't do any of your shit yet because you weren't here. However, I did say in the kind of mid section of last session while we were getting to do items is that Mustang was present but didn't yet choose what he wanted to create. So we are going to go back in time a little bit and quickly go back for a brief moment to decide what you want to make. So Ash, you got a choice. You can forge something, you can craft something, you can whittle wood, you can do just about whatever you want to do to create an arcane focus. You have a guitar, so technically you can already cast spells, but this is to act as a more permanent replacement and to teach you how to make your own in case you ever do lose whatever you're currently holding, like which has happened in the very near past. So, as Mustang is prompted for what you would like to make, what is on your mind? Dear
Guns
God,
are on his mind.
this chat is down bad.
Yeah, let Mustang freak. Let Mustang freaks.
Oh.
Guns are on his mind. Big time.
Right, so are you
All
going
kinds.
to attempt to craft specifically a Primonica? Or are you going to attempt to craft a flintlock or a gun of your period?
No, I think he would talk to Noelle and see what she had to say about the difficulty of his lofty dreams.
Okay, yeah. So while kind of like in the background, Rowan is dealing with kind of like the initial concepts with Kipley and Duradon. You see Mammoth kind of steps away for a second, all excitedly to go pick out the metals and different dusts that he's choosing. Noelle kind of turns to you and goes, "Right, we haven't actually done what you want. What are you thinking, big man? Do you want like a flute, a lute? Can make yourself something like a metal chime situation?"
Noelle, those are all lovely ideas, but I have a guitar, and what I really need is a gun. And before you say anything, it's not like what you're thinking, the slow ring, and he kind of like mimes like loading a flintlock and like stuffing a pipe down like a rifle. None of that. None of that. We need something slick, something fast. Back in my day, there was one called the Primonica. There's another one called what was Vincent's called? Was it called like the Prince Maker or something?
It was called the Prince Maker, yeah.
Yeah, there was another one called the Prince Maker. I don't know how old they are. I don't know if they even exist right now, but...
So I'm gonna hit you with a question, and I need you to be very honest and very, like, kind of straightforward with what the answer is. What is a gun?
Oh my...
I'm pulling your leg. I mean, you can look over. You can look over, literally directly to your left, and she gestures towards the massive walkers in the background, and specifically the one furthermost left that has legitimately 2 cannons built into the top of its figurehead. She goes, "Firearms are very experimental, to say the least, at the moment, and I can't say I can make anything of confidence outside of cannonry, as I've only really worked on a larger scale, but I am aware that people are beginning to make them smaller and smaller. If that's what you're asking for.
I think that's about the damn closest thing.
Right, so if I were to make you a cannon and it could be something that you could hold in your hand, would that be acceptable? I don't know what a prime monica is, and I don't know what a prince maker is. Those are just names to me, of which I've never seen or understood before.
Mm, I would try and describe it to you, but I was only business in the shooting them. I was not in the business of making them, so it'll just be the blind leading the blind here. But if you could do a handheld cannon of some kind, I think a hand cannon would suffice, as long as it's not so slow.
You have to understand, well, it could be magically enchanted. This is supposed to be just an arcane focus, right? I want to get your priority straight. If you're asking to build a weapon and make that the arcane focus, technically it can be done. I'm not saying it's something you shouldn't do. I'm just trying to bring you down to reality of what I can do. One, what you're asking for is going to be pretty heavy to hold, and I don't know how strong a ghost is. So that's concern number one. Concern number two is I've never made it before. You've never made it before. You don't know how it works. I only understand how something could potentially work. It's going to be new for both of us. So he has a very high chance of failure. Because if you're just asking to have a longbow or like a like a hand crossbow or something like that enchanted, 100% I could do that with utmost confidence. You're asking me to reach into a plane of existence of which I have never yet stepped into before and pull out something that is brand spanking fucking new to this world, of which I'm not saying I can't do. Just it may take time and a lot of trial and error.
Hmm. How much time?
I don't know.
That's fair.
Could take weeks, it could take months. It really depends on what scale you're asking for. About how small do you want this device to be?
He just kind of looks, and he holds up his forearm. He's like, probably about that long. Points a finger
Like,
from his elbow to his
forearm.
fist.
Um, from your forearm to your wrist, it's about like 4.5, 5 inches? No, less. Oh,
Whoa!
okay, never mind. No, that's
No, that
small.
that should be more. It should be more. Hold on.
Is it from your elbow to your
From
wrist? Oh,
like
to
the
your
crook of
wrist.
your
Gotcha.
elbow to your like
Yeah.
almost like to
Right.
past his
Okay.
wrist.
So you want a little. I mean, even still, that's really small. Okay. All right. I'm gonna be very honest with you. I'm kind of making for a lot of the others very basic things. I can't make this with basic materials. This is gonna have to be crafted from, at the minimum, uh, adamantine or mithril. You're asking for something that can fire repeatedly at a fast rate, um, and something that can withstand, I presume, something of cannon-esque status for a cannonball and an explosion internally. I,
Well, maybe we could make like this is a really tough situation that I have found myself in. There's got to be a way that I can explain this to you that can refine the idea. I feel like I need a paper and a pencil or something.
if you want to try and draw, I had the others sketch out what they wanted for like
Oh,
designs and patterns and stuff like that. You can absolutely try to explain it better on paper. It's don't know how much better it will be, but to start.
That's better than nothing.
Okay, so what specifically are you going to try and draw? Are you trying to draw a sketch of what the Prime Monica looked like? What a gun looked like?
Uh, I think he would probably just do like a basic 6-gun and try and like draw out all the parts and the pieces, like with the cylinder and the cartridges and the wheel,
Okay.
all
So
that stuff to try and explain it.
you're gonna hate me, but Mustang knows how to operate a pistol, but to know every single piece of it is different. So go ahead and
No, no,
give
no,
me.
definitely not every single piece. Just it's
Uh,
definitely like
I
layman.
know, I know. Well, here's the problem you're gonna run into is you're gonna sketch something that's incomplete. So I'm gonna need you to go ahead and make me. It's gonna be a raw intelligence check in order to try and break down. This isn't even the sketching part. This is just trying to break down in your head how are you going to accurately bring out this sketch for her to understand. This gonna be a raw D20. If you have anything that you can add to it outside of that, by all means, you, you can use inspiration. I hear you laughing, and I am concerned.
This is just so funny to imagine him hunched over a piece of
Yep,
paper, racking his brain, trying to figure out.
how the gun works.
Okay.
It'd be a lot easier
Uh,
if you had the gun with you too, but you are trying
it
to remember
would.
something that it's like, it's something that you don't normally think about when
Yeah,
you're
he didn't do bad, but he didn't do great. He did just a 12.
12. Okay.
Yeah.
If you want to keep that, it is not going to count as it'll count as a bare minimum success for what the general idea looks like, but is going to miss a lot of the internal components for what the gun actually needs to operate.
That's okay. We can keep it. That's in
Okay.
character for him.
All right. So with that in mind, now go ahead and make me a sleight of hand check.
Oh
It's gonna
boy.
be dexterity to actually sketch it out.
Natural 20 for a 26.
Ooh wee, mama. Okay, so trying to think about and understand how the gun looks, how the gun works, kind of racks Mustang's brain. But drawing out what little information you know, you are so much caught up in the fervor of not only creating a new potential gun, but also you realize is that when you make the 6-shooter, you can make it because the Prime Monica wasn't a 6-shooter. It was a mixture between the two that fired both magical and real bullets, and was something so beyond like your understanding when you first got it. That, like you have in your mind, if you want to sketch what the Prime Monica looked like, you can get that down to a T. If you want to get just what the 6-shooter looks like, you can absolutely get that down to a T as well. And you will get every detail that you got with that 12 on the intelligence check accurate as possible on paper. So do you want to do the 6-shooter?
Can you do both? Can I do both of the natural 20?
Uh, you, you are only designing one gun. So you gotta choose. Because technically, I believe the Prime Monica was in its base form a 6-shooter that had the Prime Monica part
It did.
built into the actual what you call it. What am I trying to think of?
There's a harmonica in the barrel of the gun.
Correct. So yeah.
I think as to avoid confusion, he will just draw a regular 6-shooter.
Okay. So you sketch out the 6-shooter. It looks fantastic. But you can see Noelle, who is going to go ahead. There's going to be a disadvantage check. Because if there's any other normal weapons check, she'd keep her normal bonuses. It'd just be a straight roll. But she's trying to understand what you are trying to make. with just raw going off of a singular drawing she has seen once and minimum details. But she does pick it up. She does go
Like
to examine
Picasso.
it. Sure. Um, and she's gonna go ahead. She has a +10 to this roll. So we're just gonna
I
roll.
believe.
There's two d20s. We're taking the lower of the two, and then adding 10 to whatever this is. This is for an intelligence check. The minimum that she needs to get to understand what is on the paper is only a 15. To understand how it might operate beyond what you drew down is a 20. If she gets a 23 or higher, she will begin to have an inkling of how to actually build this. Never mind, get an understanding of what you were trying to talk about when you were making this weapon. Disadvantage is a 9 and a 5, which means that it does come down to just barely meeting it with a 15. So as she is going over the works, because it does take you some time to think about this through and kind of sketch it out slowly so that you can get all your details correct. She picks up the sketch paper and she kind of takes the quill from you, kind of begins to ink in some of the more intricate pieces of the gun that you failed to get in the first time. She sees the cylinder. She sees how it has to rotate, how it has to spin, how it has to pop out when you are going to reload more bullets in, and how it functions at the baseline. Still confused of how overall she can get it this small and this precise, and how she can make the molds to do so. But she can, at least in the moment, have an inkling of what you're kind of getting onto, and she goes, "Right, and you're looking for it to fire. I think the bigger problem, and I'm going to be very honest with you, I think the bigger problem we're going to run into is making the ammunition for what this is going to be firing. Because making the weapon itself, I think I have an understanding of what you're getting into. You want something that is mid-range, uses gunpowder to cause explosions inside of a barrel that can handle it, to propel a small projectile out the front, and be able to use a cocking mechanism to rotate a cylinder for rapid fire rate. That I can process and that I can understand. Being able to create something that is going to be equal to or stronger than a crossbow bolt is going to be difficult at the size you're working with. I don't have any molds, or I don't have any really experience with tinkering on that size level, or like more intricate and smaller parts, because this is going to take a lot of small parts essentially to make. It's not going to be like you just mold it all at once, right? If everything needs to be moving, it needs to be interconnected, true, but it also needs to have its own smaller processes to it. So I'm essentially going to have to make like 50 different smaller molds for this, and each part is going to need to be whittled down to correct sizes. I need to be able to use the right metals to make sure it can endure the explosions. You're going to need a lot of gunpowder, and what did you use for ammunition when you were firing off this weapon? Do you know what the material was made of?
Oh, yeah. I always just gave him coin, and then they handed it over. I never had to think about it this hard. I don't know, copper maybe. Look like copper. Steel.
Steel is going to be rather heavy, so you would gain punch through, but you would lose range, essentially. We can try different metals, I guess, as process
You know,
moves
I mean,
on. I'm going to tell you right now, this is going to take more than a few days' time. If you would like to commit to this is something I would be honestly thrilled about, because I would be a pioneer in my field once more. Um, but this is going to be difficult, to say the least. So if you would like to try, I'm open to it. Just know, if you have other things you want to do, I'm gonna need your input, and I'm going to need your eyes and ears to help me in the process and walk me through steps that I may not be sure how to do. And if you're not here to do that, I'm kind of on my own.
oh no, I will be here day and night. I don't even sleep. I'm sure I will be at your beck and call.
Right, I do. So I'm not doing that. But I'm talking about like your group wise. Because they're going to be busy for the
Ah,
next few days as well, learning how to get through the enchanting process and all that for their focuses. But theirs is much more simple. Because they're all using basic materials and basic kind of means for creating their focuses. But this, you're asking me to create a brand new weapon type.
I think I am now understanding your meaning. You're think I need to ask them what they're okay with.
Yeah, because if you're fine with everyone being here, including yourself, in the shop with me for a few, I don't know, weeks maybe,
Okay,
I can
that
do
might be
it.
fine.
Listen, I am a top tier forge master. I have smithied some of the greatest armors of my time. I helped build the walkers themselves, but you're trying to bring down in size something that I haven't really dealt with before. So I might be able to do it, but I don't want to promise you anything that I'm not 100% certain about.
You know, this is not uh me doubting your skill or nothing, Noel. I believe that if there's anyone in this time period, anyone in this land that could do it, probably you. However, time is not. I know we like to say that we have a lot of time, but we do, but not maybe not for things like this. So you're right. I will talk to my group and see how they feel about it because we
Also,
might need to move on to bigger and better things.
if I may, if it is all you're looking for is a contraption that you can channel your spells through and not actually use physical armaments and ammunition, it will be easier to be done. Because that is more of the magically intensive enchanting than actually forging. It will still
Hmm.
take me a long time, but it'll probably take me less if you just want to use it magically opposed to physically as well.
I suppose part of my concern and my insistence upon such a design originates from just the nature of my abilities have been uh, mechanical as well as magical, and I'm not sure they will translate unless I have access to that aforementioned mechanical aspect. But
Kind of.
I can't exactly be picky.
If you don't mind me asking, what do you mean by that?
Oh, I wish I could show you if I had a gun.
No, but
So
elaborate if you could.
I will. I will. Don't worry. I am a man of many words, perhaps too many sometimes. Uh,
That I can see.
Noel, you're so cheeky. Uh, so when I have a gun and I channel my spells through it, I get it's more potent. It's got more oomph when it hits, and I can also manipulate the gun to increase its range, increase its potency, the damage that it does, the boom, if you will.
Right. Okay.
I don't.
Have
I've never
you
thought about it
ever
that hard.
tried using something other than a gun?
No, I haven't.
I'm not the best to talk about with this, because my understanding of Arcana is only for enchantment purposes. But using that logic, maybe while you're going about thinking about this ordeal of crafting, maybe put some thought towards also not just making something brand new, but changing something that is old to new as well. It might take long for both things to be true, but one requires a lot of physical time and effort, and you being stuck here, the other you might be able to work on the road.
Tell me more about. I feel like you have this idea that you are dancing around a little bit. Is there something in specific you have in mind?
Well, I don't know how your abilities work. All I know is that you change weapons when you hold them. Just saying. If you never tried anything outside of it being a gun, maybe you should. Just to see if it works. Or, if you said the enchantment property made it hit harder. That I can make weapons hit harder, obviously, but if you had a special connection to a weapon, that unless you have proof that it doesn't work with other weapons that you've tried in the past, how do you know that you can't replicate it with something else? That's just me speaking from a logistical standpoint.
You're right. You're right. I will try it, and I will also speak to my friends.
I would do both.
Well, thank you, Noel. We will be in touch shortly. And he's going to turn and talk to everyone. If everyone is still there, I know some people went some separate directions.
Yeah, everyone's still in the forge. Excuse me. Everyone's still in the workshop, going about their various tasks. Beginning the process of crafting all of their items. I can see Mammoth is beginning to just like walk around with bags of what is essentially gold dust and rubies, and you can see Kipley just kind of fingering at some electrum, very like eyes wide, kind of staring out into the void. And Duradon's just kind of sitting, looking up at Escaldosk with like a questioning look, just kind of eyeing its branches.
So everyone's really far apart?
No, everyone's here. They're only like, like a maximum of like 100 feet away.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I suppose he will maybe go and like stand in the center of the room, and he puts two fingers where his mouth would be, and a really, really loud whistle kind of cracks throughout the room, and he's like, "Okay, can I call a group meeting?"
Well, sure. I mean, yeah. I guess that's more of a yell from across the way.
Just you hear like a sound. Sure.
Yeah, Kipley comes over.
You do it
Thank
on
you,
this.
Kipley. Thank you, Duradon. Emmeth?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. Well, got a bug up my butt about making another sort of gun focus, but Noel says it's going to take a really long time, and I know we got bigger fish to fry, so I wanted to see how you all would feel about that.
How long is a long time?
Weeks.
How many?
She just said weeks plural. Weeks to months. But months is not going to fly with me.
I was about to say, weeks to months is a very large leap. If we're talking about 2 weeks, sure. But if we're talking about 3 to 4, it gets a bit more dicey.
I agree. I feel that's a bit much.
I mean, do you have to be here for the entire time?
Yes.
Oh.
Well, at least for her making it. She says that she has an idea about a secondary version that I could potentially work on the road, which I will probably have to default to for the sake of brevity.
I mean, I don't love the idea that you don't have your, your comfort weapon, but
I don't like it here.
at the same time, we're only here for like a year.
You're right.
I don't know, that just kind of cuts down things quite a bit.
You're right, Kipling. This is a very sound, logical, and unemotional, unattached take.
Really?
Situation that I'm going through. No, you're right. I shouldn't be wasting time on things like that. This is a temporary situation that we are certainly going to get out of.
Well, what if you worked on the one for the road, and then we could just make the other one at some other time?
Oh, yeah, of
Does it
course.
have to be now or
I'm not
never?
saying it's never going to happen. It's just certainly a not now. And I think that's the moral of the story.
Yeah, I think we
She also
should.
said I should try to use my abilities with some other weapons, so I'm going to have to give that a go.
Can you do that?
I don't know, but I've never tried, really. So,
Well,
it might have been good for me to try 10 years ago, but the next best time is now.
Kipley's looking around the room. Are there any other weapons in here?
Oh, there's so many different prototypes.
Okay.
There's not like weapons that are ready to be like, shipped and ready to go for like live use, but there's a lot of like ones that have just been taken like out of the squelcher. So like
She just
not yet
grabs one.
sharpened. Yeah, not yet sharpened, but there are plenty of like swords, daggers, all different sorts of hammers.
Yeah,
What do you try and grab?
Oh, blah, 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 blah. Oh man, I don't know. She just grabs something.
Roll me a D12 with all this.
Blah 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 blah. D12.
12?
No. 6.
6. Okay. You grab 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ooh. You randomly look over at the table and see this kind of like very thick looking weapon at the end of it. And you see it has like this kind of beautiful not yet fully realized design, as the head of the weapon isn't fully done yet. But the handle is fully done, and the like wrappings around it is done. As you pick up a mace, of which kind of the head looks like it's supposed to be this like beautiful ram head design, but like the horns aren't done yet. Like it looks like the actual like it can act as a bludgeoning weapon, but it's supposed to be a kind of art piece opposed to actual weapon.
Kipley picks it up and just immediately turns towards Mammoth and holds it out. Here, this is perfect. I felt drawn to it. This is the one for you.
Me?
Oh fuck. To Mustang. She turns and looks at Mustang.
Oh.
Sorry.
This is perfect.
Alright, little negative Nancy. How about you just try holding it before you just start doubting it?
He takes it gingerly. This looks like... I don't know, this looks like art. See, in a brothel.
Really? What kind
Like
of
a-
art
like
are
a-
you
I'm
looking
sorry.
at?
What did you just say?
like on a bed frame. This looks like a really, really rich, tacky bed frame.
You see from about 50 feet away, kind of standing just behind like a set of inventory boxes, like a single tear roll down Rowan's face as they just silently
Oh
weep as you
no.
say their art is supposed to be used at a brothel. No words are said, but so much emotion is portrayed.
Yeah, I mean,
I like it. You don't think you can
I don't even
bash
know what this
someone's
is supposed to
skull in
be.
with it?
I mean, I suppose I could, but you could bash a skull in with a rock or with your fists, with your boots. You could do either. That's not exactly precision work like I'm used to. Okay, all right, let's give it a try. What do I do? Do I
Mustang.
hit something with it?
We're like way out of our comfort zone here. I have a fucking hair tie as my focus. And look at it! She like holds up.
So it's not done yet.
Oh.
'Cause this is day 1 of everyone crafting, so you have like you can hold up a sketch of what it looks like, but you
Yeah.
don't you haven't actually crafted the weapon yet.
This is all I've got.
It's actually kind of cute.
Well, alright, what do we fucking trade then?
All right, he hands her the ram. You go hit something with this then. And he's gonna go over to the weapon table.
Please don't hit anything with it.
I'm not.
And
I'm just
that's
going to
already
hug
her
it.
design. You're not stealing that. I'm making everyone's things different. If you want a hairpiece, you can make a hairpiece, but if you ask for a
Yeah, with all my
firearm,
luscious locks, huh?
alright, listen here, you sack of shit. Smoky shit, excuse me. You can't have your cake and eat it all the time, alright? Sometimes you gotta make do with what you got. You have clothing on. You can wear things, clearly. You don't have to be an asshole about it.
Oh my goodness. Oh, you guys are just a real crack up. I love you guys.
Can
just
I
met
have
you.
this?
I can't say I love you too. No, you can't have it.
Oh.
That is, you are currently holding my apprentice's very hard work, of which you said would be appraised in a brothel.
Well,
You just see like Rowan peeking her head out around the corner, just like no longer like actively crying, but you can see just kind of wiping away some tears, going, "I was very proud of that.
what's wrong with the brothel?
Not many spectacular weapons of legend are held in brothels, is all."
Well,
So
you
it's
just
kind of
haven't
demeaning.
really attended the right brothels then. Look,
don't-
Ron, I'm gonna tell you right now.
Did you
In
just
the
call me
future,
Ron?
Ron, I'm still learning the lingo of the past, but look, in the future, brothels are like where all the heroes, they all congregate there. And
Go ahead,
that
give me a
is where
deception check.
legends are made.
Go ahead and give me a deception check.
22.
I'm gonna call this. This is gonna be a DC 18. It's a 22 on the die. You see this very like the majority of you just met and had like a very brief interaction with Rowan, so you don't actually have that much of her character personality down. But it's kind of obvious from the way she carries herself and just kind of like the most basic of insight can tell. She's not very worldly. She seems to be rather naive. And after Kipley begins to spin this tale of brothels being legendary get-togethers for heroes and holding weapons and telling stories, you see her kind of peek out a little bit more behind the crates and go, "Oh, I really didn't know that. So brothels aren't just for having a good time with people? I thought it was just for sex."
Well, I mean, there's that too, but what's a good time without a little bit of sex, you know?
So you've... Oh, right, that's supposed to... You've gone to a brothel where there's legendary weapons and adventurers?
Oh, they just line them up along the walls.
Could you give me an example
Sure.
weapons and like heroes that you've met at brothels?
I mean, that's where
And
we
you see
found
Noelle goes,
Haruma.
all right, listen here. Don't tell my apprentice that brothels are good for weaponry. All due love and respect towards you. I don't. That's not the case here. Don't go spreading that kind of imagery to a young mind. That's not healthy.
Oh, I mean, I guess it depends on your idea of what she finds out. And Kimberly just kind of mumbles to herself as she just kind of
Okay.
looks at the weapon and sets it on the table.
So, what is the plan then, Mr. Stang?
At this point, Mustang is this really a crossbow or something on the table? Something a little more familiar in shape?
You see there is a longbow, that's
Oh.
kind of racked against a wall, but you don't immediately see, a crossbow in sight. You do know there is inventory behind the actual workshop itself, kind of built into a secondary room, of which Rowan was just peeking her head out of, but you haven't actually been in there to check other weapons, so.
And we go in there to check for other weapons. Mustang
Gonna
is a creature of habit.
you can try and just scroll on up if you want to, or you can ask. It's up to you.
Oh, he'll ask if that's an option.
Hey,
Hey,
what are you look for? What are you looking for?
I'm looking for a crossbow, just something that's a hair more familiar. This is all very awkward.
Oh yeah, your crossbows in the back. I don't tend to really make many of those because, surprisingly enough, a lot of adventurers prefer to make weapons that are kind of, at least the ones that I've had commissioned before, or have commissioned me before, don't really like efficiency. They like things that kind of have special effects with them. And no one really enchants crossbows to have interesting effects on them.
That's a damn shame.
I do have mundane ones in the back too. Hold on, Rowan, could you bring me a And you see Rowan already kind of sorting through. You hear it kind of shifting sounds, and after a few moments, she comes walking out. She goes, "Hey, I have one right here. Yeah, here you go." And passes over a It's not a heavy crossbow, but it is a light crossbow. It's not too much. It's not too much bigger than a firearm, but it is, it can be wielded in one hand.
Beautiful. Thank you, Rowan. You are a doll.
Just don't go shooting it just right in about. We do have some targets set up for practice, some dummies in the corner.
Oh, don't worry. Firearm safety is very important to me.
Okay.
He's walking away.
Yeah. So you can go over. There is like a separate lane, kind of like have you seen like the lanes where you have like throwing axes, where it's just like
Oh yeah.
15 feet of wood separating two different things? Yeah, it's literally exactly like that, but slightly longer. It's about like 30 feet in length. Two two long lanes separated by um, pieces of it's not really wood as much as it is kind of just like scrap metal welded together, and you can see there is some hay dummies at the end. They have little heads and hats and arms that are made of sticks. Um, but yeah, it's about like 30 feet away from where you are. At least you can get closer. But that's where the target thing begins.
Okay. So he gets there and he thinks, okay, I'll try to do what I do with the big iron. He goes to reach for his bag of holding, and then he realizes he has no bag of holding. And he's kind of just at a loss. And he's just gonna fire it and see if he can imbued at a spell with spell at the very least. That was the basic function of his Primonica.
So you're gonna try and
Give
make
it a
it
go.
from 1d6 to 2d6?
No, he's just going to try and whatchamacallit, do the basic thing where he can fire it and then fire it again with a secondary shot that is infused
Gotcha.
with
So you can bonus
X
action.
kind of damage. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead and make me an attack roll. Are you proficient in light crossbows? Are you
Yes.
proficient in crossbows at all? I think you
Crossbow
are.
right here. Yes, crossbow.
Perfect. Okay, yeah, so you can go ahead and just add a dexterity-based attack roll. So it's gonna be +6 for you.
Cheers. 16 on the first one.
16, cool. You fire off. You see the arrow kind of gracefully go through the air, slamming into kind of the upper shoulder of the dummy. And as you go to fire off that second shot, there is an empty slot where there is no crossbow bolt that appears and or anything to enchant. And you're just kind of staring down at the device. No spell slot is expended, but no additional effects occur.
He's like, all right, well, first try is always a dud. Maybe you got some performance anxiety. Let's try something else. And he's going to try and see if he can do what he did just off of feeling with the big iron and try and imbue it with higher damage and greater range if he can.
Okay, so you're gonna try and do the big iron upgrade on the crossbow.
He's gonna try. That's all he has.
As you kind of try and call upon the greater aspects of the weapon that you're holding, nothing. Go ahead and give me just I will allow for a raw charisma check.
Oh,
Just
okay.
d20 +4.
Sure. Just an 8.
An 8 in total.
Yeah.
Oh, buddy.
I know. He's not feeling very charismatic right now.
There's you're left just as unsure as you currently are. You thought something might be there for a second, but it just whatever inkling of a feeling or an idea that was in your head is just gone.
Okay. Well, he's not going to beat himself too hard yet. He's going to go back out of this little lane. Hey, Noelle and or Rowan, do we have no magical crossbows in the slightest? Nothing?
I think we might have an enchanted crossbow around here. Brian, can you check? He's just, yeah, no, I can check. Hold on. Gonna roll. There is, we'll call this a 10 or above, and there is a +1, 9 or below, and there is not a enchanted crossbow around.
Oh.
There's not an enchanted crossbow around, but there is an enchanted bow. There's a long bow, but not a crossbow.
Okay. Well, he's in the theory testing phase, so he'll settle for a... Well, actually, you know what? Okay, yeah, we can settle for a longbow.
Okay.
And yeah, he'll walk back and rinse and repeat. Try and cast a spell.
Here's what I'm gonna ask you again. Do you have proficiency in a longbow?
Is that technically a simple weapon or is that a martial weapon?
Oh, I thought it was Marshall.
I think that's Marshall.
Okay, never mind. We'll put that back. No, he does. Well, I mean, we could just do it anyway. Yeah, he doesn't have proficiency.
Let me double check.
Short bow is simple.
Jared, short bow, correct. Longbow
Okay.
is what was given.
Got it.
Let me go. We'll give you if there is a, we'll call this 8 or higher on the die, there is a +1 short bow as well. 15. Okay. So there, you can find a +1 short bow.
Sweet. Okay, we will go give the short bow a try. Same deal. We will cast a spell with the arrow and try to see if he can follow it up the way that he usually does with.
So you go ahead and, after firing off the first arrow, go ahead and make me the attack roll.
Uh, 14.
14. Okay. You do still hit the target. It is a 10 AC. You arrow in the other shoulder. You go to draw on the magic of the Primonica. Nothing. Like, you are expecting, as you draw it back, for the arrow to already be there. And as you pull the string and nothing is there, you go to restock another arrow and you feel nothing in there. You feel no sense of the weapon kind of responding to your desires. You can go ahead and make me another charisma check.
Sure. Oh, even worse, a 6.
You're really just coming up short right now. I mean, it was a good idea to test other weapons, but you're unsure if that either Noelle just doesn't know the properties of what you attuned to originally or what, but you're just getting a whole bunch of question marks.
Okay. He's gonna try it with one last weapon to see if there's like if he can gather up a bunch of knives that he can throw. Just grasping at straws at this point, almost desperate to see if there's anything he can do.
Sure. Grab a bunch of daggers,
Yep.
of which there are plenty. You are proficient with those because they're simple weapons. For the sake of brevity,
Yeah.
you throw a bunch of daggers. You could roll me attack rolls if you want to see if you hit the target or not, but
No, it's okay. We can blow past it.
whatever it is about your current capabilities, it does not seem like the weapons are responding to whatever you were trying to influence them to do.
Okay.
After the last dagger is thrown and it sinks into the target, you have this moment of just kind of deep thought and questioning of, is there any other weapon that can meet the standards of what you've put forward into the universe as channeling your both ability with the spark and just your natural ability of that being a bard, and someone who can manipulate the weave for magic, of both song and sword, to create weapons that are better than what they originally were. And currently it's not, for whatever reason, not currently working.
Well, in this moment, Mustang, he had always thought that it was partially him that, that made the weapon better than what it was. And now he's starting to wonder if perhaps the Primonica really was the other way around.
Oh.
It made him better than what he really was. So for a moment, it looks like he might get mad. There's a lick of fire that rises up from the smoke, but kind of just deflates in his clothes, and as he does this walk of shame back to the table to lay all the daggers back out as he found them. And I suppose he will find Noelle. I assume everyone else is back doing their business.
You can see they've begun the process of forging their items, and you can see Rowan currently preoccupied with trying to like keep Kipley from overpouring metal into a mold. Guridon, who's currently trying to hack at Escaldos's horn, but is currently being unable to cut through it. And Mammoth is just kind of staring wide-eyed at the flames as the forge is being brought to a heat hot enough to melt the metals he's trying to create.
Don't love that. However, we're gonna go find Noelle.
But yeah, you see Noelle is in the midst of helping Mammoth, but as you kind of call her, she just, what can I do for you? I'm in the middle of multitasking, but I can carry a conversation and do something this simple.
I'll make this short. I tried what you suggested with the other weapons. It didn't work, and we're willing to stay for longer to see how long it could take to make something that is fit the requirements I've set forth, but no longer than a couple weeks. So I think I'm a bit of a loss here. I can come back later if you're busy.
I would suggest think about it over the next couple of days, because it's going to take some time for me to help everyone and assist their desires to create these weapons, not weapons, but arcane focuses. Mammoths alone is going to be rather complicated, and everyone else is learning the process. So if you want to watch along, so you can at least understand how some of them are being made, that can be done, but think about whether or not you want to commit your time here, because I recognize that is something that is very precious at the moment, and it could be 3 weeks, it could be a month, it could be 2 weeks, could be multiple months. I just don't want to, again, I recognize you got the task to do, and I don't want to keep you here longer than you need to be.
I respect that, and I promise I will be realistic, and I appreciate you giving me some time to think.
Yep. We will be here.
And I will be watching, and he kind of looms over to see what's going on in the fire that's got Mammoth so enthralled.
Yeah, you get close, and you can see the flame kind of sparks in response to you getting close. She goes, hey, whoa, let's not get too excited. I don't want you to throw anything off balance here.
Sorry, that must be my cousin in there.
Like, it's funny. And you go about. So essentially, from a mechanical standpoint, well, everyone has already made their rolls to do their weapons and has had successes. There will be a 4-day minimum period of time where at least multiple party members will be stuck forging. So during that time, Mustang, you can make me 2 different checks. One, you're going to make me a raw d20 roll. This is essentially going to be understanding the forging aspect of their various weapons and focuses. And the other is going to be an Arcana roll as you try and watch along to the enchanting process.
All right. Straight d20. Natural 20 on the first one.
Ooh.
Nice.
And then Arcana.
Good shit.
A 19 on the Arcana.
19. So here's the thing. It's like you are almost immediately humbled by how simple of a process it is for creating, like, it is legitimately, like, you are someone that, while they don't partake in physical art, and you partake in, like, the art of song and creating both, like, in the writing of songs, in the, like, understanding of poetry, of creating, like, these long-lasting stories and passing them on. For your bardic tradition, you already have a good concept of creating. And when you begin to see, like, when you're creating the basic mold for Mammoth's 2 spell focuses, starts out with drawing it. He starts out with creating a basic mold using a expendable material to make a test run of it to make sure the mold is working properly, and then he goes ahead and does it with the actual material. And you can see, like, with Noel beginning to walk them through the process of all of this, you feel like even though you're not currently actively making your own item, you are beginning to understand what it takes to go through the process. And as they begin to get to the enchanting process, specifically Durdon, because he's the first one to get there, you can see that while you have never enchanted an item of your own, you can understand that some of the runes carved into the hilt of both the Prince Maker and the Primonica, you can recognize some of the similar runes being carved into Durdon's focus. And it is not just a enchantment of bolstering the damage or magic of what would be a +1 weapon, but it's actually creating the bond between an item and the world itself. It is essentially writing in a language that no one can speak or understand, but putting in that series of glyphs and runes that only those who have trained heavily into the arcanic ways and have explored the worlds and found tomes that actually tell them how to do it, they are the ones that are passing on the secondhand knowledge in tiny bits. You're not exactly going to be an enchanter after this, but you will certainly have like a recognizing of I can see what makes a focus and what makes a weapon different. During that time, I will ask, since everyone's already made their decisions for what they want to make, during all this downtime, is there anything else that Mustang would like to try, and or anyone else that you'd like to talk to during these 4 days of downtime?
I think he's going to keep trying to figure it out what is the missing element that is blocking him from trying to use his abilities to see if it really was the gun that was making him better or if there's just something he's missing. And he might ask Wave for advice if Wave is willing to talk.
Sure. Do you try and catch him at like morning breakfast and or dinner, or do you try and ring the bell to summon him? How do you want to approach it?
So I think I know how this is going to go, but I want it to happen anyways because I
Sure.
like suffering. I think it's going to be late at night, no one's up, and he's choosing to use his time to try and practice and figure out what he's missing with all the weapons. And nothing's working, and in a moment of frustration and desperation, he rings the bell.
Cool. This is going to be a callback to 2 sessions ago.
Yep, I know it's gonna happen.
Yep. You already hear Megan laughing in the background. You ring the bell late at night. Are you practicing in the Are you trying to go into the workshop to do this, or are you doing this in your own room?
Would he be allowed to go in the workshop?
Yeah, if you ask Noelle to leave it open, she will.
Yeah, he'd ask.
Just
Yeah.
point a note. Kipley doesn't sleep, so she probably hears you leaving.
Sure.
Keep in mind, this is a massive palace.
But
If you would
their
like,
room is
you know.
just down from hers.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, you hear the clinking of spurs down the hall in the dead of night.
let me ask this: you're not trying to be stealthy when you're walking around, are you?
No, I mean he is walking through walls and stuff because he doesn't think anyone's trying to follow him, but
Right. Sure.
taking the most direct path.
Yeah, so you can hear like the clinking of spurs in the distance. Kipley, as you're again not sleeping but just existing in your terrifying state. Okay, so you go into the workshop and just begin testing. Are you just doing like a rinse and repeat, essentially, of just trying different weapons?
Yeah, and like casting different cantrips and trying to figure out what he's missing and like testing things to see if other powers still work.
Go ahead and just mark off like 4 expended spell slots for the time. Um,
I said
you can
cantrips,
choose
not
what.
spells.
Yeah, I was say for the abilities that require you cast a spell in order to
Oh
use.
yeah, you're right, you're right.
Um, because you will find yourself time and time again running into the same issue of like when you cast a cantrip. Um, Previously when you cast a cantrip with the Primonica, you could use the bonus action to fire a bullet that was similar of whatever you cast at a smaller damage die. And whenever you're trying to run to that same issue of casting it again, go ahead and roll me an intelligence check.
Sir, yes, sir.
This isn't as much as you trying to figure out why the magic is failing through like feeling, as much as like trying to form a thought of how to fix it.
3, count them. 3.
So, a big whopping goose egg.
Count them.
You are just as confused as you were before.
Hence the moment of desperation in which
Yeah.
we ring out wave.
And you ring the bell, and no one comes.
Yep. Mustang. He needs to go like punch a wall. Now we're at that point. He's at the point where he needs to punch a wall.
You gonna punch a wall? Or you gonna punch the dummies?
No, he's gonna go punch a wall because that's closer.
Yeah, you punch the wall. So, like, coming out of the firing range, kind of setting down all the weapons, you just kind of look around. And with frustration, the flames kind of legitimately brightening, excuse me. You slam your fist against the wall, and again, you don't have the physical receptors for pain. You can still feel it, very much so. It's just not nearly as bad as it would be for a human. It hurts. Like, you don't take damage, but it does hurt as the smoky form solidates into that coal-like body when you make contact with something, and there's a crunch as it slams against a pure metal wall, because this is the forge reinforced. But it does kind of ring out, and that frustration does kind of, I guess you could choose whether it simmers or builds, but
It's
it's there.
building. And it almost feels good to have it hurt and to hear the crunch because at least he's doing something. So he's gonna do it again.
You slam
And again and again and again.
and you're just like full blitzing this wall. Go ahead and roll me a Constitution saving throw.
A 9.
9? Oh, baby. Go ahead and roll me.
Oh
Go
my
ahead and
God.
roll me a Oh, you're way too excited about this because you
I
don't even know what's
this is
coming.
So
Go
great.
ahead and roll me 66.
Okay.
Not the king shame, but that's crazy.
You don't live that long and be that dead without being a freak.
I'll sting freaks.
26.
Oh my god, that's really good rolls. You slam, 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 slam repeatedly your fist into this wall, the fire building, the frustration increasing, and you get to the point where you are slamming and your vision is beginning to fade, and the impact isn't hurting anymore. It's gone numb. It is just, you can feel that you are hitting something, but it no longer, like, you're in a haze state of just repeating the same motion over and over and over again. And then you feel it. You feel that same feeling that you felt back in your room. That same feeling that you felt back all the way in the
shit.
Golden Cutlass. You feel that same feeling you felt back all the way on Port Cliff. And without even meaning to, and with no visible sign or warning, your fist sparks up against the wall, and in the middle of the night, a tremble is felt through the palace
Oops.
as it is a object, yet still 26 points of fire damage erupts in a 30-foot circle sphere centered on yourself, and you can see tools and weaponry get sent flying. The um, wall itself has a black scorch mark up against it, except for the imprint of where your fist impacted. Very much kind of like the Pompeii um, ghost, the
Oh
ghost cinders that
god,
were
like
left
a
behind.
blast shadow.
Exactly, like a blast shadow. You can see where your fist impacted is the only spot that doesn't have the soot on it. And you do also take 26 points of damage. That is not reduced from your fire damage resistance. It is just 26 points of essentially internal
Combustion.
combustion.
Right.
Um,
One fire
as the
snack for me.
spark goes off and the chain reaction is initiated, you feel two things happen at the same time. One, you feel the need for a charisma saving throw to be made. Go ahead and roll that for me.
I think I will use one of my inspos on that because this feels important.
12? Okay.
Okay, 16.
16. Cool.
Wait, I lied. Excuse me, 19. No, yeah, 19.
19?
Yeah, 19.
Oh, because you did it as a check, not a.
Yeah, my bad. I hit the wrong button.
Gotcha.
19.
No, you're good. You're good. Yeah, so it is +7, so that's 19. 19. Okay, that's really good. And you feel the need for the critical saving throw to be made, and you feel as something prevents that from being essentially would have been twice the damage dice and twice the damage. You immediately get the understanding that this would not have just been 66. You would have dropped essentially a 8th level fireball on yourself, and you feel someone intervene to stop it. At least lessen the impact of what you were about to explode with. The charisma saving throw, you don't immediately have an answer for until you hear in the corner of the room a screech. Not of a human, but of metal bending. As you see, in the moment that you exploded, you couldn't see it. But whatever stopped the explosion returns back to its place. What was your passive perception?
17?
17. Cool. You do see as a rather large looking metal, almost like spike, goes out of vision and goes back behind the wall for where you can't see it.
Can I walk around to see it? Is it something I can go investigate? Yes, I will do that.
You walk around. And you can see this is the wall that the walkers are held up against. And you see the chains that were on Lancelot are broken.
Oh.
And the tip of the legitimately tip of the spear, or in this case tip of the lance, doesn't have scorch marks on it, but does have chains kind of lingering from the end of it, where it wasn't very stealthily hidden. But you see, there's no light behind its eyes. It is still in movement.
Mustang is no fool. He knows you do not need to have light in your eyes to be alive. He kind of looks up at Yan and he's like, sorry you had to see that. I'll be more professional tomorrow. Kind of just leaves it at that.
You do get
He
a
doesn't respond. He's
response.
gonna leave. Oh, he does.
You hear in your mind, Mr. Stang, if I may, I am contractually obliged through our bond to try and make sure that your goals are my goals. Your frustration is misplaced, and I would advise against outbursts of anger in your current state. It could have been much worse, but luckily you were in here to a place where I could reach in time. Perhaps, if I may, through the roughly 6.5 hours of observation that I have had on you, and the failure to bring out your abilities, I believe you are focusing on the wrong task at hand. I hope the man who is smart enough to make a deal with me would be able to figure it out from there.
You know, there's one thing that's the same about all you primordial beings is that you hate giving a guy a clear answer.
That is not true. Much of our kin are one of those who do not twist words like Fae. However, there is not exactly much interaction between your kind and ours, so... Well, humanoids, you are not of their kind. You're one of us.
But, okay. I much prefer the humanoids then. At least they can be plain every now and then. But I do appreciate your help. Yeah, I will consider your advice very carefully.
You are an extremely powerful being. Do not be frustrated that tools, simple tools, cannot process what you are trying to pass through them. That is to the extent of which I can say at the moment.
Mustang looks like he's about to say something snappy, but he holds it in because he would not expect a being like Lancelot or the Primordial Spark to understand why he is so upset. So he takes a metaphorical deep breath. You're right. You're right. I'm asking a lot of these things. I need a new angle. Obviously, this isn't working. Again, thank you, Yan. This won't happen again. That sculptor's going to be here before we know it.
Right. I would suggest you take some rest.
Yeah, maybe when I'm dead.
You're already there.
And he winks.
You feel the connection. You feel the connection end as soon as he says that. Leaving out on a trail.
Yeah. So he is going to go to bed because he is dead.
Yeah.
He is going to go to bed.
As you turn to leave the workshop, you get, and this is the best version of which I could find this. You see Wave sitting in the doorway of the workshop, exactly as the gift I just sent. Just mad dog staring at you, like half of his eye just poking out. You can see like half his body just watching you. and not even trying
Wave.
to hide it, just
I tried to call for you, Wave. I had to do something to get your attention. You're so fickle.
really, I leave you alone for one night because I am trying to help a different member of your team with a yet another overly concerning issue. And you decide that is the night of which you are going to combust.
What can I say? I missed your shining blue face, my sweet cornflower.
Do it again. I'm throwing you off of this palace.
Oh, by your hands,
And
that
he
would
just
be a worthy
walked
death
away.
indeed. Now, did Kipley follow him?
That's a great question.
Sure.
Follow. You followed Mustang and were watching, or?
I think more like just she's fucking bored out of her mind being awake all the time, and she's like, oh, there's movement, and she just kind of trails it without really knowing what it is while looking at everything around her and just like total squirrel ADD moments.
Okay. As you go to exit, then, you hear the poof of Wave disappear. And as you go to, do you try and because the doorway is open? Do you try and walk for the open doorway, or you just trying to phase through the wall next to it?
Me, Mustang?
Yeah.
No, if the door's open, he'll just use it like a normal person. He's had enough freak shit for tonight.
You walk for the door and see sitting on the other side, just kind of legitimately sitting like on the like window mantle across from the workshop, is just Kipley sitting in the moonlight, staring at you. And you can see from like the angle of which she's sitting, probably could see you talking to yourself in there as well.
Oh. Kipley,
Hi.
what are you doing up, you little devil? Specifically down here. Up and down here.
Why are you calling me a devil?
It's a term of affection. Please.
Oh,
What are you doing down here?
I was bored. What are you doing down here?
I was, also bored, obviously. Kind of crosses his arms and starts tapping his foot.
With?
Um,
Her head kind of leans to the side, looking behind me. Or Mustang. God damn it.
bored with staying in my room. Right? Same as you. His eyes flick over to you.
No, I've been roaming about all over.
And when did you end up roaming over here? Or how long you been sitting there?
Why?
Just curious.
You know, you don't have to hide anything from us.
I'm not hiding anything. I'm just
Oh my god.
trying to get myself sorted.
Alright. I mean, you can do that privately, that's fine. Honestly, I just wanted to make sure you were okay and... Okay, no, that's total shit. I was fucking bored. And you were the only thing moving about, so I just kind of trailed after you.
Yeah, I get that. Nights are boring. They've been boring for the past 100-some years. And they will be for the next 100-some years. I hate to say it, so you gotta figure out something to do with your time.
No, that's so long.
Yeah, welcome to the club. You're gonna live forever.
I don't think so. So what were you doing to occupy your time?
Or right now, or for the past few centuries?
Like the past 4 hours.
Oh, well, I was testing more weapons, seeing if I could figure out what I'm missing. I may or may not have overreacted a little bit when I couldn't figure it out.
Her eyebrows raise a bit and gives like a pointed look.
It wasn't pretty. Not my finest moment.
Do you want me to go find another weapon for you?
I think I might be coming at it a little wrong. I think everything I've tested so far has been a little too mundane, and Lancelot gave me a little bit of a talking to, a little bit of scolding about my methods.
Look,
So,
why should that matter?
because he's right. I'm not being very smart about this. It doesn't matter that he said it. It matters that what he's saying is true.
Alright.
But I'm done for tonight. If I do this anymore, then I'm probably gonna blow up again, and I need rest.
Okay, let's go. She grabs Mustang's hand and starts heading back.
You know, Kipley, you should learn how to play an instrument. That's something you could do anytime, anywhere, no matter how bored you are.
Oh no, I'm really shit at instruments.
Well, I mean, how much have you practiced?
Not at all.
There's your problem. You gotta practice, and then you're putting something beautiful in the world by the end of it.
You don't think I'm putting beautiful things in the world?
I mean, do you feel like you're putting beautiful things in the world when you roam around the hallways at night and sit in the windowsills and staring at me like a little peeping Tom?
I thought I was.
I mean, it was cute, but it'd be really beautiful if you were playing a hot tune while you were doing it.
You know, not everyone has to have the same kinks as you, Mustang.
Ah, but the world would be a much better place, don't you think? At least for me.
She kind of squeezes their hand a bit and is just like, come on.
Come on, Grandpa, we gotta go put you at home.
Heads back to Mustang's room. Drops him off.
All right.
Bye, Kipley.
She slams the door.
And that ends the day 1 of forging. You still got 3 days left in case you want to try anything. You are welcome to also make, at the beginning of the second day, another intelligence check. This time not to understand the failure of weapons, but to potentially understand the riddle you were given by Lancelot.
Alright.
It's just another raw int check, though.
17.
17. Do you go to the forge to watch everyone else work again?
Yeah, he's trying to learn all he can.
So, over the course of the day, just kind of frustratedly following along and trying to keep a cool head while also trying to think of ways to change how you're going about augmenting weapons or trying to implement your powers upon them. It's kind of a pun fully intended, kind of a idea that sparks into your head.
Aha!
And it immediately fades, and you have like a eureka moment, and just kind of, it's kind of in one ear, out the other, and you're trying to grasp onto it. But the words that Jan gave you, if you're trying to put something that is so much stronger into weapons, that are not or mundane. They're tools that you're trying to use that are lesser than you. That line in particular just kind of sticks. It doesn't immediately give you any answers or any immediate, I got this. But that line in particular just kind of rings. Okay, alright. Kipley, get out of here. Silently making fun of the DM behind his back as he would. Alright, but the second day does go by. Is there anything else that you would like to try, Mustang, for that while everyone else is busy?
Damn, I feel bad. This is just like a Mustang evening. I'm so sorry,
Nah,
everyone.
get it.
I think it would be in order to mention to Noelle that he is interested in trying something with a weapon that perhaps has a higher magical caliber if she's got something on hand.
Ray, do you mean like you're just gonna borrow it for a few seconds or like attune to it?
I guess stuff that is more powerful does need to. Is there anything that I could just, I don't know, take out, rent for a day, attune for a day, just give it a try?
Respectfully, my babies, no. And she just kind of like guardingly grasps at her armor and like, she looks like essentially if a doomsday prepper was also a forge master. Like, if there isn't any space on her body that doesn't have a weapon, like, you could basically barely see past, like, chest down, for is only just weapon racks upon weapon racks. I know, but, you can borrow one of Rowan's. I'm sure she wouldn't mind.
All right. Don't worry, I am not a child napper. I will not touch any of your babies. Okay. Where's Rowan?
Well, she's assistant mammoth at the moment, but I'm sure you can steal her away for a second to take what she made herself and is very proud of.
The ram?
No, that's not done yet.
Okay, all right.
That's just an item. It's just a mace. You said you wanted something that had a bit of oomph in it.
You're right. All right. Thank you, Noelle. And he's going to go and head over to bother Rowan.
You head over, and she is in the middle of explaining the enchantment properties of different materials to Mammoth. Like the difference of why ruby dust is needed to be used in the enchantment process of certain items. And you see, as you walk, she goes, "Oh, hello. Are you going to be joining us, shadowing, or?"
Maybe later, but right now, do you happen to have any weapons I can attune to just for the day? Just for the day. I promise it's not a permanent thing. Something with a lot of magical oomph, if you will.
You mean like, does it matter what item it is? I don't think I have anything of your variety.
I need knives, crossbows, short bows. I could do sword if I really have to. Whips.
Well, you see, she kind of looks downward at her feet, and you can see on, while like the armor that she wears is like rugged, you can see she has like nearly pristine looking boots. And she goes, it's not a weapon that you probably would be accustomed to, but I mean, I can lend you these for a day, I guess. And she just straight up takes her boots off, And you can see she doesn't have humanoid feet, but in fact actually has the full like rabbit
Oh,
um rabbit bottoms. And as she kind of pulls the boot off, you see the hair like runs up a bit onto the leg itself. Um, and she immediately goes and like looks down, looks at everyone, looks very uncomfortable, and straight up, like a second she is there, and then another second she is gone. Like she jumps legitimately from a not even a running start, just a cold stop, jump 30 feet, already at the storage room, and you can hear her shuffling around for a secondary pair of boots where she puts them on and walks out. They do not look nearly as comfortable as her other ones. Because these ones aren't magics, they don't attune to the size and shape of your body. But she hands you over the Greaves of Bashing, which is essentially the it's not a one-to-one crossover, but it is functionally a weapon of wounding turned into greaves. I can go ahead
okay.
and just send you a screenshot of what this would be,
Yes.
just so you understand what she's strapped with. Ba. Actually, yeah, I'll just post it in general. It doesn't really matter. But it does take an hour for
Ooh.
her to unattune to it. And then it will take an additional hour for you to attune to it. So for 2 hours, you're essentially just kind of chilling, waiting for the effect to be gone. And after the time is up, you watch as the greaves themselves kind of begin to form to the shape of your body, and then unform, and then reform, and then unform. And there is a moment where you can see a magical item is unsure of what shape it should take. And the greaves simply just disappear. You watch as they almost meld into the smoke itself. And it's gone.
He stands on the ground looking barefoot, and he's like, oh man, it's just gonna go do the walk of shame back over to the dummies.
And as you walk over to doing the walk of shame, you walk up, I assume, within 5 feet on the range itself to kick them?
Yeah, he'll cast he's not really sure what to do. This is so different. He'll cast a
Mhm.
cantrip, and then at close range, and he'll try and follow up with a kick.
What do you cast?
I think they're all gonna be at disadvantage, unless I could do create bonfire. Just create a bonfire on the thing.
You
Go
could.
from there.
What would you like to do?
Yeah, well, he'll do that,
Create a
and then he'll
bonfire?
follow up with
Okay.
he'll create bonfire, and then
So
he'll
you
follow up with kick.
snap your fingers, and flames erupt underneath this, as I previously mentioned, hay doll. So it immediately catches flame.
Awesome.
And then you run up, and as you go to kick, you watch as coming out of the smoke, the boots themselves emerge as cowboy boots with spurs on the end,
Awesome.
and around the edges of them are like it is steel toe boots. The steel is built into the actual um foot itself at the end. You see there are steel nubs built all along the front and back of the boot, so it essentially becomes like spiked all the way around. Um, like very
Fuck
like
yeah.
goth punk kind of spikes. And as you go to kick, you watch as the follow-up weapon that you would normally be using also fails. The boot
Okay.
does come out, but the magic, whatever item ability you try and channel, fails.
right?
And you try again. Or you just try it once.
No, he's just gonna try it once. Unless there's more dummies to set on fire.
Oh, there is another dummy in the other lane. Absolutely. Also, I believe, do you not have control flame? No, you
I
don't.
do not.
So
We're not about controlling fire up in this
yeah,
business. Only
you
causing
can
chaos.
create, but you cannot control.
Yeah, no cheese fancies.
Yeah, so it does just kind of low smolder burn. Let me see, does it say that it sets non-magical? It does. It ignites flammable objects in the area. Yep, so that thing's just slowly burning. You see Rowan, Rowan comes hopping over and just takes a bucket of water and splashes on it. Just goes back over to Mammoth. She goes, I'm just gonna leave these here for you. And just leaves like 4 pails of water.
Rowan, you're an angel.
Please don't burn down anything while I'm on the opposite side of the room. And hops off.
No problem. Okay, well, he is going to... He can't even begin to wrap his head around how he would do a big iron with some shoes. So... He's gonna start walking away like he's gonna leave, but as he is leaving, he's gonna suddenly turn around as though he's psyching out the dummy, and he's gonna try and do the big iron thing with a kick. See if he can make it happen.
Go ahead and give me another intelligence check.
Okay. 10.
10? Okay. As the minimum you needed to allow you for a raw charisma check.
Oh, sweet.
Is just a +4 again.
Yeah, 14.
14. Oh, buddies. Uh, you have the idea of like, if I just try and feel my way through this, can I do it? Bring the boot around, go for the kick, and try and amplify a boot with big iron. And you land a solid blow against the dummy. And you feel something for a moment as you're trying to conjure the image of what it would be like to extend something of this variety, but nothing. Still hitting that wall.
Well, he'd already hit that wall, so he's not gonna beat himself up too much about that. He was more doing that for shits and giggles. But he's going to take them off and start the process of unattuning to them because he's a man of his word and he's not going to keep them.
Okay. You give them back to Rowan, and she does immediately slap them back on. She's, did it help at all with what you were trying?
No, they didn't, but it was fun. Thank you.
Sure. Immediately
Sorry about the
throws the boots off to the side, puts hers on, goes, oh, that's fine. We have plenty of those. We should have brought out the fire-resistant ones when you were coming along, but we don't often test things here, so...
Well, where are they? I'll get them myself.
Oh, if you want, they're in storage. You'll just have to sort around for the ones that have a lot of scorch marks on them.
Sounds easy enough.
And you can... No investigation check needed. There is an assortment of dummies that have various different resistances. And like she said, like if you're trying to find like lightning or acid or anything like that, it might be a little bit harder. But the ones for fire, it's just scorch marks all over it, and you can kind of drag it over to where you're going.
Yeah, he'll set that up just to be courteous, but I think he will probably focus on watching everyone again, just to not miss any valuable information or valuable steps in the process that he might need to know. Day 3.
Day 4 comes around. As everyone is finishing their items, everyone will be done by afternoon and finishing their arcane focuses. Go ahead and give me another. This is going to be, we'll call this perception check, Mustang, and another Arcana check as well.
Right. Perceive. A natural 20 for a 27 on the perception. And
Man, that
Arcana.
sucks.
Why?
You really wanted that natural 20 to be on Arcana?
It's not too late. It's not too late.
That's
Get
true.
it?
You could just roll ridiculously well.
Middle of the road. Well, it was 17.
17 for a +1. That's not middle of the road. That's really good. Okay. So on the final day of crafting, here is where I will allow some leniency for the natural 20 leaning into the 2 rolls here. For one, you can see that most of your allies already have, like, they're putting finishing touches essentially on their items. You can see that Durdon's done, now being able to wield blood into the hilt of his bladeless sword, create a weapon, and then when he lets go of it, it stays there for 6 seconds before breaking. See, Kipley is beginning to finalize the runic patterns on the interior of the hair tie, and Mammoth is crafting the sun imprint on his other hand. And you kind of begin to put a thought together of watching everyone finalize their process. A kind of idea comes across your mind. A man of crafting the fucking sun. Idea kind of comes across your mind. With a natural 20, you are watching each and every single one of your allies take something that is mundane, and through the magic of either their own arcana, for their own occultness, because Kipley can enchant it herself because she is a spellcaster, and it is guided through the process by Rowan, who's also a spellcaster. You can see Mammoth himself in the same process can do it. Durdon had to have Noelle do it for him. But you can see as every one of your allies are finishing their items, finishing their product, they're taking something that has no power in it and imbuing it with something that is either of their own or someone else's. And watching the details to a T, taking up every action that they do, watching like a hawk for the entirety of the day, you have an idea that pops into your head. Turning mundane into the arcane, forming that bond and tie. And you can see taking something that doesn't necessarily require a lot of influence to go through it, but can still harness all the power that they need and replace components. That's what the focus is made for. A 17 in Arcana. You think back to all the moments from which you carried the Primonica, and that you carried Big Iron when you changed its form. You had something physical that you were imbuing your power into. And you didn't ever stop to think of how you were doing it. Looking at the process of what they're doing and seeing as Kipley casts spells, how Mammoth begins to cast spells, how Durdon begins to channel his weapons for this item, that moment of realization peaks. It's not that the Primonica was more powerful than the items that you're currently using. It's not that it is of a specific brand of weaponry. It is simply through the attunement to the item It's not to the physical aspect of having an item, but to the desire of which you wanted to use that item. You needed a source, and you were using a gun which required flame. You needed a spark to ignite the bullets that were leaving, and you provided that spark through yourself. And as you put that together, everyone finishes their items. I know all of you have probably already added them to your inventories, but everyone already go ahead and add arcane focuses into your inventories. I don't believe anyone got the natural 20 when they were making it, so no one gets the +1 variance. But everyone has access to their item abilities once more, replacing what was once lost with something new. And Mustang has your little moment of realization, and for however you wish to use it, I will allow you to. There is no secret ingredient in the dragon's pearl.
Like, I'm looking at the
100%.
console, there is no
I
secret
100%
ingredient.
pull the Kung Fu Panda.
There
on
is
you.
a secret ingredient.
Noodles.
It's love.
Oh, I guess that too.
That's what he said.
Noodles.
So, is just about striking. We'll call this 2 in the afternoon. And this, as a reminder, I said this to everyone at the end of the last session, Ash. But this, the 4th day, marks the first week of you being here being completed. 51 weeks remaining.
Oh boy.
I know, as soon as you put it into a number, clock starts ticking. As everyone finishes up, is there anything that you would all like to do?
I don't think so.
You can absolutely fast forward and end the day if you wish.
I have a question.
Sure.
Just for Ash's memory, because it's been a while. Was there anything that Mustang needed to do to prepare for the sculptor showing up, or he just had to be there?
Nope. You just had to be there. You didn't have to do
That
anything.
explains
You're
why I
just
don't
waiting.
remember anything. So was
Yeah.
that? Okay,
The
I'll
only
make
thing
sure
they
I
said
was
was
there.
you had to visualize what the ideal Mustang would be when he arrived, but that hasn't come around yet.
Okay, just want to make sure I wasn't missing something. Got it.
Mhm.
Thank you.
The evening goes by, and as it comes around the time for dinner, you all are called to the main dining hall. You can see each of the servants in your individual rooms kind of give you each a note, whether verbally or handwritten, over saying that Ultron requests your presence for a dinner in your honor. And each of which I assume you would like to go. If not, you speak up now or forever hold your peace.
I want to go.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Jared? Jared? Isn't this how the Red Wedding started? Listen. Don't look into it too much. Just say yes or no.
Yeah, everyone else is good. Did they say specifically in our honor for what?
Yeah, but
Just
why
said in your
honor?
honor.
Suspicious.
Gang, I'm gonna keep it on me.
I'm gonna
like.
keep that fang on. I like how your version of keep that fang on me is carrying a twig.
You know, I keep it on me at all times.
Keep that twig on. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So roughly around like 6 o'clock in the evening, you all make your way to the main dining hall, which become accustomed to traveling about the palace. It's been a week of you being here. It doesn't feel like home, but you're starting to like acclimate to the actual pathways of this ever extending maze of winding hallways. But you can make your way easily enough over to the dining hall, of which you can see is fully in tip-top shape, not messed up or any damages from when Kipley was wildly casting spells and going rampant in there. It looks as if that never happened. And you can see there's also large banners being strung on each side of the room that weren't there previously. Each of which you can see on either side is just kind of plain red and gold banner with golden trim on the side, kind of red pattern inset in the middle with rather blank designs. There's no actual like crests or there's no symbols that you would like see which would normally be dictating like a banner of nation or like a banner of a person's personal symbol for like a mage or something like that. They are just blank. Um, and as you all go to enter and sit down, you can see that uh, Wave, Ultron, and Mori are present, as well as you see Rowan and Noelle are both sitting at the table as well. And you can see that as you enter, Ultron kind of gives you a soft smile and goes, please, come, sit. We have, I have heard from my beloved friends that you all have accomplished a rather impressive feat. And I thought it would only be right to celebrate such a thing. A small step forward, but a step forward nonetheless.
Thank you, Aldrin. Not that I am here to receive any of the praise. You all have done amazing work these past few days. It's been awesome to watch.
Yes, I heard you specifically, Mr. Stang, were running into issues, but I believe you will find what you are looking for eventually. And as far as I am aware, you studied alongside your peers and are able to craft, or at least understand the process of crafting a focus as well.
Oh yes, I have
A
been
feat
studying
in
very
its own
closely.
right. So please, come, sit. Let us be merry for a night before I share some rather good news. It is all indulge. You see he kind of raises his hand and all the cloches rise up. And you see there's already meals prepared. There is a abundance of food in all different sorts of variations. You see there are different fruit platters. You see there is a charcuterie board in the middle of the table. There is an assortment of meats and all different sorts of both kind of you see vegetables that you are familiar with, but also just like different color variations of them. Like you can see there are like purple and pinkish looking like potatoes, and you can see there's some very just strange looking vegetable matter that you just have not seen in your lifetimes. And all of which is spread across the massive long table ahead of you. And you can see as you all sit down to enjoy your meal, Noelle kind of stands up, grabbing a glass and kind of slams. It's more of a slam than a tink as she grabs a knife and slams it against her glass and goes, I would like to make a quick toast to all my lovely students and apprentices, as she kind of smiles at Mammoth. For all your hard work and all of the results that you have shown from it. I have met many folks in my lifetime who have thought about creating and simply moved on to using instead, as it is the easiest way to live life. But in a mere 4 days, you have learned the basics, how to create, enchant, and provide the mundane with a bond to the arcane. And that, while it may seem a small feat in your eyes, is a great step to bigger and better things. To all of you. And then she just downs the glass of like it's a wine glass. This thing is filled to the top, and it is not a sip. She just straight chugs it back, slams it onto the table, and kind of slams into Mustang, who is beside her, going, "Come on now, this atmosphere is fucking dead. You all did brilliant. Let's all be merry, cheery, and happy tonight, if not for just tonight."
Oh, you want cherry? I'll show you cherry. And he starts grabbing as many drinks as he can and like in his arms and all sliding them towards him on the table.
Oh yeah. The cloche can create as well. So both hers and yours, you lift up, and you can see there's just lines of shot glasses on both of them, of each of them being a varying flavor of alcohol. You see one is bourbon, one is rum, one is just straight gin, and there is like mixes of different drinks. You see, she just begins to pour all different kinds of mixers together. And you get a very quick sense that Noelle, while being an eccentric person, keeps that same energy when it comes to partying.
Fuck yeah.
Mori is smiling, kind of just sipping a small glass of wine along with Rowan, who's nursing, to say the least, a glass of wine as well. And Wave kind of sitting in the corner, not drinking or eating anything, but does kind of give like if looked at, a soft smile, unless it's Mustang, of which he just gives you a stare. But a night of good food, good song, as at some points you see both Maury and Rowan begin to kind of strum a tune. As Maury pulls out a harp at one point in the evening. And when I say pulls out, I mean she has Aldrin legitimately drag out a harp into the dining area and begins playing for all of you. You see that Rowan kind of hums along, kind of gently begins to sing a small tune. And it's a nice mixture to the atmosphere of what has been recently frustration, kind of doom preparing, and at the very least, a nice break and interruption. But at some point in the merriment, you see Aldrin kind of himself stands up and raises a glass and goes, "I recognize all of you have been putting work into both yourselves. Attuning to a walker is not an easy feat, of which you have already accomplished. Creating your own focus from nothing, a feat that you have accomplished. And setting forth a goal to visit, to my understanding, the Ironwood Thicket, to begin to create allies in these harsh times, to learn of the world, and to some, your origins," as he gestures towards Mammoth. "I wholeheartedly approve of this journey outwards, as you will already be heading in the direction of Relen. It is no quarrel of mine whatsoever. And I share good tidings. You see, my friends, I have been keeping busy in which times that I could, and I have found you a name. to which they would want for the creation of this device and how you will get them to make it is up to you. I will prepare to drop you off outside of the mountain ranges so that you do not need to walk through them. But we will allow you to journey through these lands upon your own accord and seek out an archmage within the borders of Verlan. Someone who I believe to be trustworthy enough. I expected greater reactions. This is what exactly you were looking for, no?
You want to interrupt? I thought maybe you weren't done talking, but that is great news.
No, very excited that I finally found someone who I believe won't fuck you over as much as they would destroy any sort of, guise of what you're here to do.
Thank you. Well, that is just... I mean, any lead better than what we were a day before. So that's incredible. Thank you.
I will warn you, I have never interacted with this person myself, but I believe that they should be trustworthy enough. Oh, I did not give you the name. My apologies. It is a man of which, by the name, you're going to be looking for a Torin Salir. They
Salir?
are a... Did I say something wrong?
Oh, that's just that name makes its way into the present.
I'm sorry?
Salir is an important last name in the future.
Well, potentially a good thing? Is it a good last name or bad last name?
It depends on who you ask, but her name is Layla Salir. But that we're in the past now. Yeah, I'm sure it won't concern you until 100 years from now. So
I am
Torin
certain
Salir.
that it may not even be the same person. It is a last name that could be in many different generations and generations beyond from which time you are from. You're looking for a tiefling man. Purple skin, long curled horns, and elegant robes, of which undoubtedly a not arcanist but sorcerer of very high regards.
I'm going to. Sorry, go ahead.
I was simply going to say, I have sent scouts out to meet with this man in order to create a commission to see if he'd be available and open to creating an item under wraps without having a lot of knowledge ahead of time to exactly what he would be making. All that I said was that I would be sending associates to meet with him to discuss exactly the details of the artifact in person, and of which he agreed for a sum of coin which I will endow upon you to bring to him.
Oh, generosity just keeps flowing.
Well, you are free to make a coin of which you can find, but you are doing this underneath my beck and call, and it seems only fair that I can provide you with the bare minimum. Besides, it is only 10,000 gold. A small asking price.
Yeah, it's just a little bit, drop in the bucket.
You were saying, Mr. Bishala.
Oh, I was going to telepathically to, to Mustang ask, weren't you there when Mischief dropped the bomb? That is the lady that helped her husband become like a lich, right? What the fuck is? Sorry, um, become a lich, correct? I'm thinking of the right lady, Layla.
Yeah, that's why I'm kind of a little skeeved out here.
So theoretically, we're going to go visit a person that's going to be a lich in the next 100 years, or sometime in the next 100 years.
If, yeah, if not within a few degrees of that happening. But, Aldrin, did say maybe Salir's a common last name amongst people.
Well, Layla's also a tiefling. I mean, not to say that tieflings have to marry other tieflings, but
Yeah, I know, it's not really looking good, is it?
it's not. Should you
Yeah.
ask to see if he has a wife?
He doesn't even respond to Duradon, he just turns his attention to Aldrin. Do you know if this Torrance Salir has got a wife?
So he kind of raises an eyebrow. Are you asking because you are going to try and seduce this man?
I just might.
Wait, before you answer, just answer yes or no.
Is this to cut me off before I say yes or no? To say yes or no is a little redundant, but sure.
Yeah, but I don't want you to. Only yes or no, please.
I am unsure. I did not look into this I did not look into their entirety of their person. I simply looked at their qualifications as a mage and an enchanter. I did not see them go back to another man or woman in their personal chambers when I was spying on them, but they could have one that is living at a distance, or perhaps that I just did not see.
Slowly turns back to face Duradon.
Why do you ask?
Just curious. I got a thing for tieflings. Powerful tieflings.
Right, you make a joke about that, but I assume it is because down the line, this Salir becomes a problem.
Technically, she's my boss.
Yeah.
So he either marries into someone who becomes your boss, or has ancestors who become your boss.
Yeah, she could.
No, I think it's probably the same guy.
Right. I'm just going off of no information here. Is this going to be a problem?
I don't know. I think it's
seems
fine.
that you're withholding information on exactly what kind of person this Salir is in the future, and I would like to know if this is going to cause more problems than fix problems.
Right. Mustang has the answer to that question.
He looks towards Mustang.
Ugh. It might. There's some lichdom involved. It was a convoluted sort of situation where the Salir name was involved in turning an individual into a lich.
During this conversation, Kipley, go ahead and roll me a history check with advantage.
Kipley's not paying attention. She's literally just sitting like slumped half in her seat, feet on the seat of the chair, like her knees against the table, and she's got one of the like cloches with the plate just like in between her knees and her chest, and she's just kind of arms wrapped around it. Just this thing that she can't quite get to work for her, and she's just frustrated by it and just staring at it.
Go ahead and roll one more time for me. It's at advantage.
Oh no. What am I rolling? History.
History. Yep.
Here we go.
What am I rolling?
Whoa.
Natural 20.
Yeah.
Cool. So I'm just gonna straight up tell you then. you kind of snap in. You kind of snap into the conversation after realizing that your cloche isn't gonna summon anything again. And you remember because you were there in person when you and Durdon both found this out immediately. And you also were the one who met both husband and wife.
Yeah.
And you are the only person that actually knows that Vander was the husband to Layla Salir. And that there is absolutely no way that this man could be her husband. That immediately clicks for you.
Yeah.
So you're like, oh, I literally have had conversations with this man. Not at all a tiefling. He was a human in life. Did not give you the last name of Salir. So you are 100% certain that this could be a parent or a relative, but is most certainly not related in any way maritally to Layla.
Like, arms kind of wrapped around this cloche in her lap. Sorry. She's like just kind of listening, her ears kind of twitching a bit as she's not seemingly paying attention. And then she just, as she hears some of the conversation switch towards Layla Salir, who she fucking hates, and then the possible lichdom and everything, and she's just kind of, her eyes kind of bouncing between people, not really adding to the conversation, just listening and just watching.
Oh, I love that you have the epiphany as just like, nah, that's all you, fam. Hell yeah. See, Wave chimes in, goes, I would highly advise whatever you think of this person, you have no proof as to what extent they are related to whoever you know in the past. Do remember, we don't even know what time you come from, so they could have been long dead before they even gave birth to or had a child or a relative or whoever took up their name, perhaps as a how do you humanoids put it, homage to a bloodline. There is hundreds upon different ways of which this could go. However, I do recognize that they are a powerful mage, and you come from a time where they are also a powerful mage, so...
Oh!
Grain of salt.
His hand shoots into the air.
You can speak freely.
Okay. What would happen if we accidentally killed this person?
I would strongly recommend that you don't go accidentally killing people around here, especially since this is out of the few dozen of individuals that could make this item for you, one of the only ones that Uldren found trustworthy.
But what would happen if we did by mistake?
Then you would accidentally kill a person,
Oh,
which
okay.
doesn't sound like an accident.
No, I'm just trying to think of all angles, like, in case things happen. What should we be aware of? What should we try and, fix or run from?
You can go ahead and roll me a persuasion or a deception check based on what you're actually planning on here. Go ahead and roll me a raw charisma check, actually. Ah, fuck. Well, deception, natural 20. God damn, for 28. Wave is a very powerful man. Does not mean that he has that high of an insight wisdom modifier. Even if a natural 20, he cannot beat that. So
Oh.
he just looks at you and goes, "You shouldn't plan on murdering someone that you're going to make a deal with, especially since you're making a large sum of money in order to do so, but I do see your point of if they do turn out to not be trustworthy. If that's the case, I would suggest running over fighting, as this person is the closest thing that you can equivalate in your time to an archmage. However, this is not a wizard, this is a sorcerer. Someone who can cast magic without you even knowing it happened. They're extremely dangerous, so I would suggest running over killing, but I assume if you have to defend yourselves, I guess rely on the big guy. And he just kind of nods over towards Duradon.
Wait, did you say rely on me?
Well, yeah, sorcerers are extremely powerful, but they are legitimately one of the most frail, peoples. You spend no time to build up your constitution or your ability to really do anything besides call upon the magic in your blood, so it's not exactly like they have an insane amount of durability as opposed to someone who literally uses magic to get angry and kill things better.
I'm just happy my talents are recognized.
Don't have to be magic in order to be useful.
I wish there were more people like you back in our old society. Or future society. I have an unspoken beef with magic users.
What?
It's not unspoken. They've killed me a lot.
Kibli looks at him with this completely shocked look.
Tends to be that way for most of us. But then you learn a spell or two and, you understand.
Yeah, that could be possibly a good thing. I think I'll try. No, I'm not. I'm lying to you. I was about to say I'm gonna try my hand in magic. I don't think it's gonna end very well.
You sleep with a magic user.
Yeah, that doesn't change the fact that I've died to a lot of them.
Cyrus
you
from
hate
the
them?
end of the table just fully spit takes and comes out of her nose. Just a spray of wine. She just begins to gag.
Oh, splash zone.
I'm sorry. You cannot just be so casual about saying that.
Sorry. It's just it was so casually said.
That's like saying that you slept with an undead and now you can't be comfortable with hating undead.
Yeah,
What?
it's counterintuitive.
Undead?
No.
Oh yeah, her and the prince up in that tower of theirs.
Oh.
Tell me, does he need that stone in order to
Yeah. Lay it out, please.
how does that work? from the question of that.
Oh, Kipley, you've been holding out on us.
Yeah, you devious dog, Kipley.
What?
That's what I thought.
I genuinely don't know what we're talking about.
I think you do, sister. I think you do.
And having some fun, Kipley. Yeah, you came to a new time, and I guess you said you really only live once, or in your case, potentially
Die
forever.
once. Oh,
Yeah.
well, yeah.
Unless you're dirt on.
I mean,
Yeah.
It's true. It's true.
yeah, Vince and I are shagging up.
Ooh.
Don't put it so romantically.
I mean, I would rip out anyone's throat that tried to hurt him, but it's not like we're in any kind of serious relationship.
No,
It's
no.
Those
The
two sentences
underground
don't belong
prince?
next to each other.
It's just bumping undead bodies against each other.
Wait, Vince is undead. I've lost so much. Wait,
Oh, right. I feel like that's a spoiler alert. I mean, you kind of have to see it from a certain angle. If you heard that, you didn't hear it from me.
wait.
Kipley
Are
said
we
it.
talking about Vince, the like
The prince.
undead prince of? Sorry, not undead, but the prince of like crime, like the
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean,
one
crime
who
is
I'm pretty
subjective.
Oh, wait. Do you? Oh, you haven't met him, have you?
no,
Right.
I think
So do you
if I
know?
did, he was a bounty, right? Like he
No, 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 no. So, um, here's a point of order, actually. You would have never gotten a bounty on Paradise Peak for Vince the Prince.
okay. Good.
Yeah.
So,
Fuck
like, you may
you.
have heard the name on the street, but you have never once seen a bounty for him.
Gotcha.
And you see, she goes, "Remember when you said that you recognized the poster of me when I
Yeah.
changed outfits? Yeah, I got that reputation from taking jobs from him. He's kind of like a pretty powerful influence on Paradise Peak, to the point where he can live there without really having to, worry about much coming back on him. At least from, the guild."
So theoretically, just percentage wise, how many people with bounties did work at some point for Vince? Just a
Not
softball estimate.
to
Softball
my
doesn't exist.
knowledge, only like maybe 5?
Okay. So he's not like a bad underground. I don't know why I care. I think I'm technically not allowed to be in the city anymore. Anyway, you know what? It's fine. It's fine.
I think he has done like atrocious things in the past, but I don't really
Well-
keep tabs on that because I have too.
We all
Who
have
has-
skeletons in our past.
Exactly. I just
Fuck
said I
your
didn't
skeleton.
judge, but you don't become a crime boss by being nice.
He is a crime boss. Okay. Oh, okay. So just so I'm caught all the way up, Vince, the crime lord, who I've only heard tell of, and that is in the most kind of like he's effectively like a whisper, if nothing else, is also undead and happens to be bosom
Shagging it up.
buddies with our other undead, who's notorious for maybe not the best decisions, and also lying about a lot of things. Okay, all right.
What?
I think we're
Okay.
even now, Kipley. My
Oh.
apologies. Had to.
I gotta cut in here. Vince is decent. He's
Yeah.
he's got his skeletons, but Vince he's pretty decent. And I feel like any of us, moral judgments and judgments about justice, that is so not our theater anymore.
Vince cares about people.
His
Cares about
people
the
are-
people that or the upper echelon, or whatever the fuck the word is, don't give a shit about.
Well, I hope that is true, and I mean, even if it's not, again, I don't really
What?
think there's much to be done. So
What? Why do you say you does my word mean nothing to you? Okay. She just
Woof.
kind of like
Brutal.
she just kind of like taps her nails against the cloche.
like when it comes to things generally of the world, yes, I entrust things, but the closer and more personal something is to you, the murkier and muddier your word can kind of be.
Who, me in particular?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, we are. This is like brutal honesty.
The drinks are working.
I have been so fucking honest with you.
Usually when it's too late.
When have
Yeah.
I lied to you?
We really want to
See,
get into this.
here's the thing. I think I do think you lie, but your biggest issue I don't think is directly lying, but I think you strategically tell truths to build ultimately two lies. Like you will tell and say things that are technically true, but they don't serve maybe the ultimate purpose. Like and then just straight up omission of very important things. Like I don't think it would have been a smart thing to have gone on the mission that we went on had I known that you carried like maybe a very dangerous entity inside of you that just it, it was kind of fucked and scary and terrifying. I still do
Oh.
have nightmares about it.
Her
So,
her ears kind of go back for a moment. She just kind of, her shoulders drop a bit.
like again, I don't. Is the closer and more personal a thing is to you, the more likely you are to omit ever talking about it or tell your truths to skirt around the core of the subject. Um, and you're just very good at deception, and deception isn't just all about lying. That's a huge part of it, but
No,
deceive is a skill that you're really good at.
you're right. You're right. I kind of wear it like armor, and that's not it's not really fair to the rest of you. I don't mean to. And her gaze kind of looks over towards Wave.
Of which you can see is like not. He's not looking as interested in this conversation as some of the others, but you see he is holding eye contact with Mori, currently giving her like a death stare as she is like full grin, like hand on top of her, or excuse me, head on top of her two hands as she's leaning like into the table, looking like she's enthralled in this conversation.
He's living for the drama.
But he kind of, like instinctually, without you even saying anything, catches your gaze, like that moment where you know someone's staring at you, but they don't say anything. He kind of gives an eyebrow.
Kipley just looks at him and just says, Vander Yondu. That was his name. He was married to Layla Salir. He's the one that did this. She kind of gestures to herself.
Wait,
Yondu, you said.
Yeah.
Gonna have him do a very important check right now. Did we keep track of the world and what's going on? Nope.
No, no.
Oh. No.
I'm not familiar with the name, but thank you for your honesty.
I gave them both of my inspiration.
Nah.
Can I give him a bardic?
Fuck. Damn it.
Nah.
Damn it.
It's not something that he's actively like researching or doing. It was just a split second moment of him trying to recall if he knew something from the world, which he didn't.
I mean, I could be very honest. And she's going to go into great detail about all the things that her and Vince have done.
Oh my god.
Oh, wait, no. Kimberly, no. Oh.
No, keep going, keep going.
Not that- oh. You see, Mori, it looks like she is eating this up. She's like, "Oh my goodness, to tell me more." Oh,
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
what?
And then it
and
was
you
like
see she
we tried
legitimately
it
starts writing
sideways.
notes down.
Oh, what?
Yeah, if you do it clockwise, but then you kind of go to the left, it. Oh my god, you would not believe the sounds they make.
I am so very intrigued. Maybe
Yeah.
I have to try this sometime. And you see she gives a sly smirk to Aldrin, who's like, looks uncomfortable. Like, he genuinely looks uncomfortable in his own home. It's
No.
like, right, no, it is, very interesting indeed.
Oh, there's also one other person named Carmine that I want to do away with. Does that name sound familiar at all? Probably not.
And you see, for a moment, Wave kind of dismisses it, and then kind of circles back and goes, "You... is that regarding to a surname or their actual name?"
I don't know.
I do know of a Carmine. Can you give me more information about this Carmine so we can see if it is similar to what you might...
Manipulative.
Right.
Wraps someone into their deals.
A deal maker.
Yes.
What type of person are they? Fae,
Shit.
fiend, humanoid?
I don't know.
Did you see what they looked like?
I think she did when
You did. You
Yeah.
caught a glimpse when you were going through Vince's memory.
Yeah.
Go ahead and give me a history check with advantage again.
What?
So you do have, you can at least make guesses, but you don't know the exact type. 13. You remember when Vince was this was way back at the beginning of when Vince was showing you his memories. When he was first on the Dweller, and before he had become a undead, he had met with a woman in a secluded room, and you remember there being a mirror that was reflecting back at him, and you do not remember seeing her in that mirror. There was no reflection that he could see on his end.
So Kipley's gaze just kind of goes distant for a moment as she's thinking, and she just kind of goes, I couldn't see her. She had no reflection. It was a memory. She had no reflection.
Vampire. And she supposedly lived very long from your time.
Yeah.
Huh. It might just be the same person then.
Well, who is it you know?
A woman by the name of Carmilla Carmine. A deal maker, as you say. She doesn't tend to stay in one place, but she has frequented in the past Fortuno. City of, well, fortune itself, trade, and all sorts of merchandisal goods between the east and west coasts. A lot of foot travel goes through there, a lot of desperate people, all looking for a better promised tomorrow. I heard that she spends the rest of her time in the glowing wildlands. But I have not actually interacted with this person myself. All I know is that she is a creature of the night who... Well, I don't have a confirmation that she's of vampiric nature and doesn't come out during the day. At least hasn't been sighted during the day.
You just kind of hear some clanging, just soft clanging as Kipling kind of starts, like almost OCD or ADD, like just kind of looking under the cloche again without even thinking about it. Okay, well, what were we talking about? Where are we going?
Well, I believe Uldren was enraptured by your stories of
Sex?
intercourse and a potential plot to defend yourself from a sorcerer who is maybe linked to a lich, but I believe he had other news, my lord. You see, he goes, Uldren, who's like kind of snaps into reality when he says, he goes,
That's the
right.
hard stare.
Yes, my apologies. It has been some time since I have had a audience such as all of yourself, so I am not accustomed to these types of conversations. The request that Wave put forward to bring forth a transmuter. They will be arriving upon the morrow. Which means that hopefully whatever issues that you have between one another, and Uldren looks directly at Mustang and Wave, they will be resolved.
Well, anything to make you happy, right, Wave? Kind of got a shit-eating look in his eyes.
Wave just gives a painful yet soft smile.
I'll never get tired of that.
I hope you're ready.
Ready's my middle name.
Good. Yes, stir it on.
I'm sorry. Most of my things are a telepathic thing.
That doesn't mean that changes. Not kidding.
I'm gonna telepathically to Zyrus / the Monarch of Mischief. Like,
Ooh.
Do they have like Is it just me, or do they have like a little bit of like tension? I don't think tension is the word for it. It's like the good type of tension.
So go ahead and roll me a we'll call it a D4. On a 1 or a 2, you get Xyrus. On a 3 or 4, you get Mischief. Well, you get
Exactly.
Xyrus. I'm sorry, who are we talking about?
Mustang and Wave, like they seem like Wave always generally seems like he tolerates our presence, but like with Mustang, seems like he's
Very open about not tolerating his presence.
but like in a I have to be coy about it, and I can't like openly say I don't mind your presence type of beat. Like that's the energy that I'm receiving, but I'm also
Listen,
terrible with people. So.
I'm gonna be very honest with you, Duradon. This is coming from a woman with a passive insight of 20. I do not think that will ever happen. As juicy as it would be, fire and water, hilarious. It
Go crazy.
seems like he genuinely not even dislikes Mustang, but genuinely hates him. Now, I think Mustang totally might have a crush on him, 100%.
Okay.
I sense
Okay.
as well there might be a proverbial spark. Haha.
Mm,
I'm sorry, that was terrible, but
that was hilarious. I love
I think he might have the hots.
it. Okay. Okay. Oh, okay. Oh, all
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Yeah, that was good. That was good.
I had to, you know.
I like that. I like that actually.
Thank you.
No, you're hilarious. I think this
I try.
it's one of your great qualities. Many great qualities. Anyway, so it's maybe a one-sided affection type thing going on, like a
Maybe. Otherwise, Wave is very good at hiding his feelings. He might have something. Who
Davis.
knows? It just. I can't read too much into him besides the fact that he seems to genuinely dislike him at the very core of his being.
You think it's because Mustang is dead, or because Mustang is
Oh,
Mustang?
100%. It seems like it is a I hate what you are type shit over I hate you kind of thing.
So
Who knows? Maybe if Mustang emerges a sexy humanoid, maybe he'll change. Maybe if he becomes a stone man of stone.
oh,
Maybe
Man of
that'll-
Stone might be too close to his brother. Um, so like maybe human,
Mm.
or I could see Mustang being a tiefling. That would go hard.
What or Water Genasi,
That
Double the
would
Walker, two
come on.
wet individuals
Two wet men always get it done.
flipping and sliding.
Yeah. So we're shipping this.
We
That's
don't
not
we don't get to have many of these talks. I like these.
right. Yeah, like most of the time it's like so serious, or you're not you, which is
Yeah, it's sad.
we do have to continually have like more time like this, and not look like crazy people who are just silently, occasionally glancing at one another.
I've been maintaining eye contact this entire time. I hide nothing.
Oh, that's
They might just think I'm in a mood. Who knows?
wait. Oh, yeah. I mean, cool. Are you in the mood? Nah. You know what? I'm just gonna. I'm just gonna.
Depends on what that focus you made can make.
Can Kibla hear any of this with like her detect thoughts?
If you cast detect thoughts, yeah.
Sure, why not?
Go ahead, make me a insight check, a DC of 10.
Fuck this game.
Natural 1. You do have inspiration, I will remind you.
Oh, she's gonna use it.
Hey, if I can help the
Not
plot,
a natural one. Okay,
that'd be
good, good.
so great. 14. So you stare at Xyrus long enough for, like, you can observe Xyrus staring at Duradon long enough, and you are aware as one of the people who has reached into his head before that they can have telepathic conversation. You're like, maybe they aren't at first. Then like a minute goes by, and you're like, curiosity starts to peak, and you can cast yours because it's part of your feat. You can cast it without verbal and like what you call it
Mm-hmm.
and semantic components, so you can just reach into the minds. Now, if you dive into their minds, they will know, but you can pick up like bits of the conversation just through passive thoughts alone.
She literally just with like this plate and clotion in her arms and in her lap, her knees up, pressed against the table. She's just kind of looking, her eyes kind of bouncing back and forth between Xyrus and Duradon, with just like this growing smile on her face.
I will say, go ahead and make me a wisdom saving throw. I'm looking for a DC of 19 or above.
Nope.
17. So you're reaching out to a radius. Not exactly a person. It's just everyone. And there's a few things that you notice.
Oh.
One, unknowingly and unwittingly, you find yourself dipping past Mustang as well.
Oh,
It's not deep thoughts, it's just surface thoughts. But you notice that there are multiple surface thoughts in there that are actively thinking. Ma'am, if you whiz by, there's no thoughts in that head. No,
Road.
you get thinking about some rocks. No. But you do get you do not find yourself able to get any even surface thoughts from Wave. And upon extending out further to Aldrin and Mori, you are unable to passively read their surface thoughts without getting noticed. As Mori, who is currently in the midst of like listening in to the conversation at hand and writing down notes, and you can see she's beginning to sketch some of what potentially you said before. Looks up at you and makes direct eye contact with you. As you can get some of the surface thoughts, you get wonder what you're looking for. Just crossing over.
Kind of shrugs a bit. She's just like, and she just kind of mouths towards her. It just happens.
Oh God.
And she again, you're getting surface thoughts, so this is like across like multiple rounds because you're getting like a few words per round. I think everything happens for a reason. Careful what you're looking for. You might find something else. Go ahead and give me a secondary wisdom saving throw. This is against a DC of... Oh my god! Yeah, let me finish.
I'm sorry! I'm sorry, I need to
of which you pass. You sense, with no verbal or semantic components, as well, you sense a message being sent over to you that is purely only images, and your mind resists being shown very naughty thoughts from Mori.
Oh no.
Kip,
You will never know what they are. But there was an attempt of a prank.
Kibli, like,
Your mind stands strong.
with one arm wrapped around the cloche, she just kind of lifts it up a bit, and her other arm, like, dips up and under it. She just kind of is reaching up inside of it while staring at Maury. And then she just. It just does this awkward look back towards Duradon and Cyrus and doesn't quite know what to do with everything.
But the evening does eventually come to a close, unless there's anything else that anyone wants to do for tonight. Going once. Going
I'll
twice.
check in with Mammoth.
Sure.
Head to the old Mammoth's room. Knock on the door.
Mammoth will get up and open it.
Hey, bud. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm well. I just wanted to come by and check up on you. I think are you busy or are you
No, I'm just sitting around.
um well, is it okay if I come in and talk to you for a bit? I don't want to disrupt anything you got going on.
Oh, I'm doing nothing. Come on.
He'll enter into the room. And he'll kind of like sit on a chair at the desk or something that's available. So hey, I know it's kind of weird maybe, and we kind of do a lot of assuming that that you're just pretty much okay because you don't really say too much. You trust a lot to us, but um, just want to check in on you and see if you're all right, and if there's like anything that's going on that you don't like fully understand, or maybe some thoughts that you've been having about kind of what we're doing and all the crazy shit we've gotten into.
Uh, no, I mean I'm more or less keeping up with it. Uh, yeah. I mean, I'm confused about a bunch of stuff, but it's the same kind of stuff that we're all confused about. Like, how do we fix this whole situation? And well, actually, that's basically it. But other than that, I'm doing fine. Oh no, and my whole like destiny thing. But I feel like if I don't think about it now, that it's fine, and I can start worrying about it when it becomes a problem later.
You know, kid, that's honestly how adults do it too. I'd like to say that there's some wisdom that can be imparted, but I'd kind of be lying to you. I think that's kind of how a lot of people handle destiny, but um, if you don't mind me asking, what specifically about destiny are you your destiny are you concerned about?
Oh, like how I'm supposed to save the stars from dying, or like eternal darkness or whatever.
I'm sorry. What? You're supposed to do? What, is this something that you brought up that we kind of glanced over, or is this your first time telling somebody about this?
Oh, I don't. I mean, I think I assumed it's been known. I don't know. I have talked about it before openly, but I don't know when.
we just kind of assume that a lot of your shit is just like a anyway, can you elaborate a little to like the best of your because I would hear that from you and think like, oh, this is like a child's imagination, but I've seen you quite literally kill people with like star bow things. So I'm assuming it's not all just a fabrication and that there is a scary amount of validity to this. So
Uh, yeah. I mean, basically one day we were on the ship going to or from somewhere, I don't know. And I had this dream where my grandpa visited me and was like, "Oh, Bruce is this like he watches over the uh guardian of the stars or whatever and helps them each time the like every 1,000 years or something like that." And then uh yeah, and then in this dream I went to this place like it's like a house in my head kind of basically, and so I go there sometimes. Well, I guess I kind of get called there sometimes by my grandpa, and uh actually the other day I saw like I was falling asleep and I saw some guy like eat the stars. And so that was like something, I guess that was like the first development, I guess. But other than that, I've just kind of been waiting around and to see, because I don't really have anything else to go on. Uh, it- and I still don't. But yeah, that's what is going on with me.
hey, bud. Um, I know you have a very maybe like fucked up perception of adults and all the baggage that we have, but don't take it from me or Kipley or Mustang or really any adult that you've seen. Sometimes talking about things can be a really good thing. Um, and so you sometimes talk to your deceased ancestor, and
Yeah.
also you've recently had a dream about a creature eating a star. Like, is it like a specific star or?
No, and it wasn't a dream. I just made that up because I couldn't remember. It's because when I was trying to bond with the big onion guy, Hector, when I fell off and hit my head, it was because that like I saw that guy eat the star, the big serpent, and I just kind of passed out.
So do you feel like do you know what like the difference between a prophecy and like a vision is?
Uh, I well, frankly, I don't see how the two can be confused.
It's fair. You think it was either one of those? Like, is this something that is going to happen, like guaranteed, or is this like I it might happen if certain things aren't avoided?
I think it's like gonna happen if I don't do something about it, or like like I think. Well, actually, I hope that other people can help me do it and stuff like that, and it's not like I'm the only one who can, but it's like I was born to be that, and so I could do realistically nothing to stop it, and everybody else could do anything, and that would be okay. I hope it's that one. Not that that's what I want to do, but just so that it's not like all on me, you know?
A lot of pressure to have as a kid to take on responsibility of fixing issues that he didn't have anything to do with.
Yeah.
You go through a lot, Mammoth, and you seem to take it very well. We're not really going to be sure until you become an adult, and it kind of, I guess, fucks you up mentally. In but for now, you're taking a lot of this like really well. Even for like the avoidance part of it.
Yeah, I just kind of assume I'll have like a mental freak out later, because I mean that's just kind of what happens, I guess. Like with you guys all have like weird mental stuff, and so I assume that like it just kind of comes with the whole thing.
Hey, we're not healthy and or normal representations of, I think, how to handle stress. Um, I think that you should talk to maybe a more adult than we are about how to handle your stress. Like I think Iris might be the bet. Just make sure you don't get Monarch. The mischief. But Zyrus, I think, could be a very healthy person to talk to. A lot of fucked up things happened, and she adjusts relatively well, all things considered. Um, don't You might not want to talk to Wave. Wave, fantastic, doesn't seem very humane in a way.
You think he'd just kill me or whatever?
No, I just don't know if like he seems like very much a person that is maybe not as in tune with emotions. Like I think he logically understands the existence there of them and maybe how they affect people, but he seems to be a very logical individual. And in my experience, which it can be very flawed because I am mortal, um, trying to process emotions through the like film of logic can often be more of an issue than it is an aid. It can be helpful sometimes, but other times you just kind of got to go through it and experience it in a more emotional spectrum. Um, Funny enough, maybe Kipley is a good person to talk to too. She, as long as it's not about her, she tends to be very. Don't tell her I said this. She tends to be very good. I think with empathy. Um, and maybe being able to express and communicate with creatures, just period. Um, when she decided that a giant celestial magic monster required her empathy to save. She's really big on caring for other people. And if you talk about your things to her and what you might be going through, I think she'll be able to give you healthier responses of how maybe you should handle it. Um, all things considered.
Uh, okay. I kind of think she knows about this whole thing. I don't know why.
Wouldn't be surprised. I feel like I love her to death, quite literally. But
Huh.
I feel like she's anything that she's willing to give up, even after we fight about it. I feel is information that is 3 or 4 stages behind, and she's already developed some new things, thoughts, issues, secrets to keep, and you know, the closer you think you're getting, she's kind of like a you're following the trail of a shedding reptile. Like you catch the skin, thinking that you found the core of the creature, but really that's just the shedding they left behind as they become a new person. Um, Again,
Right.
love her to death though, but and it was relevant. Surfing's irrelevant to your whole thing. Um,
Yeah.
we should research this though, right? Like this isn't a thing that we should just kind of say it'll come when it comes. Like we should definitely ask Wave about this, right?
Well, that's kind of what I wanted to go to the Grove about, to like learn about stuff, because I don't know things about druids, and so I think maybe I could put some pieces together if I like learn from them when they're still around, you know?
Actually, really smart. I mean, why don't you tell Wave that when he asked why you wanted to go?
I did.
Oh, that's on me. That's on me.
Yeah, no,
He
he
should.
knows that I want to. I mean, I'm pretty sure I talked about it one of these days, like around the table. Maybe you weren't there. I don't remember. But yeah, I said, well, I said you and I wanted to go because it was the same. Like,
Ironwood, yeah.
yeah,
That makes a lot more sense now. I'm going to be so real with you that I was I just thought it was like a let me commune with my people, which I was down for, trust me. Um will be skeptical always because that's just drama, but now that I know that there is also like this looming threat because I think stars are important. Um I'm not like an astronomer, so I really, what do stars do for us? I feel like maybe that's uh like what are they just like little lights in the sky or
well, they're big lights. They're actually huge, huge lights,
right, right, and
like
like
bigger than you think,
really
like way bigger,
okay, but like, are we talking about like size of cities?
like way bigger,
Huh?
like like how? Well, you haven't really been off of Paradise Peak too much, right?
Not really, no.
So like you've been on top of basically everything. You know how you look into the sky and it's you eventually you can't see anything except like the sky, like it just stops.
Yeah,
And then if you turn around and you like look the other way and it stops,
right.
it's like way bigger than that. That whole everything in between there, that's like a small part of the stars. And they're like huge and way far away.
Really? Like, do people? They're lights, so are like, do people live on them and become like blind as well, or like, are they used to?
Uh I don't think so. I mean, I don't know the specifics, but I know it's just like big, like giant balls of just burning hot stuff. So I can't imagine anybody's getting close to one of those guys, but
Oh. Okay. Fine. And so the balls of burning bright stuff. A long time ago, there were stories that were told to me as a child. Are they like burning bodies of angels that have completed their like objectives and kind of like they are so bright to remember the good things that they have done in their service to like the gods? Is that the burning stuff that you mentioned?
mm, no, not even close at all. Actually, I think it's just stuff like flammable stuff that like burns forever or something. I don't think it's any like angels or whatever.
Oh, this is
Yeah.
just like how- it- well, I guess you're a druid of the stars, so I have to trust your expertise on this. This is It's fascinating. So, like, why are those stars so like small? But like, what is what is the sun like? The is this like that that just it's like hot and it's bright and like I've heard it referred to as a celestial body and I've been scared to ask like is that like a literal thing, like it's actually the body of like a celestial, but you also just said that it's not burning angels. Is that like the exception and why it's so big?
Uh, I have no idea. Uh, all of the stars are really far away, and even our star is really far away. And I know there's like other stuff. Like you know how I don't. It was all a lot, but when he explained it, but it was you know how like when you jump you come back down.
I did learn this one. I think it's called it starts with a G. But yes, I know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
gravity. Yeah. And like all the stars have like giant like orbs of those, and they like bring stuff close to it. But then also we're we're this like whatever like we're on is uh we're moving really fast, and so we don't get sucked into the sun. And I think that pretty sure that goes on like all over the place.
Wait, so you're saying that the thing that keeps us kind of at grav gravity, yes, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
might be pronouncing it wrong. Um, so we spin really fast, and the sun also has that, and these things together. This is a lot. This is like, do other people know about this, or is this like a coveted secret of the like druids?
I have no idea. I this was all. Remember when I talked to my grandpa that one time after I thought he died? When I went to the home in my head or whatever, he was just like, "Here, this is what's going on," and so like I retained some of it,
Like
or
sages
like
should be
I
studying
retained like
this.
some of, or like, Yeah, some of all of it.
Oh,
Yeah.
we should. This is definitely something like at a later date we should tell the other. I maybe you could also. Does Wave know this and he's never said anything about it, or like do sages know? This feels like major discoveries.
I don't have any idea. I mean, honestly, I don't know why it's even so important, to be honest. If somebody told me all this information without it being like necessary for me to keep everything in space where it belongs, I would have been like, okay, that's interesting. That's actually really interesting, but if you were then to ask me, is it important to anything whatsoever? I would say no.
Right, like you said, it's very interesting, and I imagine maybe these are things that we'll have to maybe work with for the whole discovery of the giant serpent thing. So wait, a giant serpent that would mean that the serpent is like huge, like bigger than anything we can imagine if it can swallow a star. Is that or is that just like a metaphor?
I don't really know. It looked real, but I I mean, who's to say?
I mean, holy shit. Mammoth, I came here to comfort you, but you've blown my mind, and I think I will not be able to sleep. Because that is. I mean, that's a lot. That's. And you just kind of have this knowledge, and you just kind of like are in the room by yourself and just think about this.
Uh, I don't think. I mean, I don't think about it that much because there isn't that much to think about. I don't know basically anything about it. I mean, I think about like the stars and stuff, but like as far as them getting eaten by space snakes, I mean, that's really all I've got to go on, you know?
Huh. Um, I'm I'm gonna go and talk to talk to Mischief. We definitely have to
Wait, why?
prioritize because I feel like this is interesting things. These are fantastic things, and also I want to see if because she's like really old, if she knows anything maybe about the whole snake thing. Um, and I kind of think that I forget a lot of times that like went back in the past, but even back then she was still a troublemaker and well within her own person at the time. So theoretically, she might have information that we can look into regarding it.
Yeah, also, now that I'm thinking about it, since we're like 1,000 years in the past, right?
Right?
And one of these things happens like once every 1,000 years.
Is that gonna happen here now?
I
Like,
don't know. So maybe it's really a good thing that we're gonna go see what's up with that. Because maybe that's what it maybe I don't maybe there's weird shenanigans where the prophecy is me having to do it in the past so that it's not a possibility of it happening now. You know?
holy shit!
But
Emmett, you're a wise man, very wise man, or child. Yeah, man. At this point, we'll give you man.
I don't know about that. But all right. I'm fine with child for now.
Okay, cool. It felt weird. I just didn't want to disrespect your wisdom.
I'm okay.
Oh, okay. Well, uh, before I go, is there anything that maybe you need that I can? I feel like you've enlightened me a lot. Is there anything that I can do for you to help?
uh, I don't know. I'll try to think of something.
Well, sleep well, but tomorrow, maybe a lot of things are gonna go down, and a lot of interesting stuff is gonna happen, and it's another day closer to figuring some of this shit out.
Yeah, hopefully.
Rest well, bud. And Duradon will uh kind of stand up and ruffle Mammoth's hair uh before heading out.
And as you go, everyone gets in their long rest. You all go ahead, get all their lovely spell slots, everything back. I think we will end it there. Because unfortunately, as much as I'd like to keep going, I do have work tomorrow morning. Bright and fucking early.